Just saw Martin doesn't look like he rehydrated much. What's up, guys? Yeah, so the Gary GAR fight's on. They're about to call the fighters to the ring. Gary Antoine Russell versus Alberto Puello, 140 pounds. Russell just turned 28 today, so it's his birthday. You gotta think that he's gonna come in here and look to do big things. Jack P just saw Martin doesn't look like he rehydrated much, still looking a little thin. Yeah, guys, that's something that's been the narrative over the last 24 hours with Frank is that you've seen all the memes people were sharing about like, he's looking very sickly, but time will tell. I saw that interview too. He looked focused. I like what he was saying. He didn't, all these guys are going to be cutting down specific amounts of weight, and I think that's one thing that always lies in Tank Davis's case. It's in his corner. He doesn't cut a lot of weight. He's not a big dude. I was talking about it yesterday on the live. People want to see Tank fight Teofimo Lopez. They want to see, Tank fight Subriel Matias. Tank is 5'5". He doesn't walk around. He only weighed in yesterday at 133 pounds. The weight limit was 135. So Tank's not a big dude. I think he's kind of a tweener in terms of weight classes. We got Gary Antoine Russell getting called out right now against Puello. I can't wait for this fight. This is the fight that I'm equally as excited about this Gary Antoine Russell fight as I am for Liam Paro and Subaru Matias. And both guys are in the corners. Puello's 29. He looks a bit older. He has more ring experience. We haven't seen GAR in a while. We know Gary Antoine Russell 17-0 with 17 knockouts. Here's a statistic I was talking about in our boxing group, Boxing News Today. Gary Antoine Russell has been a pro for 7 years. He has 46 rounds, which is crazy. Yeah, 46 total fight rounds. So, just turned 28, 5'10". He weighed in at 138. It's crazy how sometimes these guys give weight a couple pounds away. You see it in boxing. You never see it in MMA. If the weight class is 170, these guys are weighing in at 170. You rarely ever see a UFC fighter come in at 167. Boxing's not quite to the T such as that. For instance, this fight between Puello and GAR is at 140. GAR weighed in at 138, and Puello weighed in at 138, giving away 2 pounds. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but, All right, guys they're getting announced now. The fight's about to start. We got GAR versus Puello. Then we got Benavidez versus Gvozdyk, and then the main event with Tank and Frank. I'm excited, man. Let's see. Didn't GR beat Boots? Yeah, he did, man. Chinchilla, you know your shit. JR beat Boots 3 times in the amateurs. Now, granted, if you look at what Boots' body type looks like now compared to even 3-4 years ago, he's really hit a growth spurt. Jaron Ennis in the amateurs was fighting weight classes below. He stands at about 5'10", 5'11" now. And a lot of the guys he was fighting in the amateurs, he just wasn't fully developed. But don't get it twisted. GAR is a dog. Lights are off. Round 1's about to start. It's fight night. Super stoked. I'm coming from Sydney, Australia. Where you guys from? Let me know. All right, round 1. I love how I'm boxing. There's no touch of the gloves. These boys just go at it. GAR is wearing these white gloves. Puello's wearing red gloves. You got orthodox versus southpaw. Man, Antoine Russell was quick. Who you guys going for? Pittsburgh, Chinchilla. I went to college at the University of Pittsburgh from 2002 to 2003. I played baseball there at Pitt. I lived on the south side, Carson Street, many, many moons ago. There used to be a pub on Carson Street called Fatheads. I used to live right behind Fatheads on a little street called Jane. It was cool. I had some good years in Pittsburgh. The thing about Russell that makes him so good is there's never a feeling out process. He's 17-0 with 17 knockouts for a reason. It's amazing that this kid could be a superstar. His fight style, listen to him give interviews. He comes from a fighting family. We know about his brother Gary Russell. We know about the other brothers. He's the youngest of the Russells. They call him the last Russell. And his fight IQ's there. How he perceives his career is super high level. Every time I hear Gary Antoine Russell talk, man, I love listening to him speak. halfway through the first round, Russell's just backing Puello up with the jab. Puello has, been trying to fight Russell with his back against the ropes. Did you see how different Frank looked with them bigger? Did you see how with them bigger cameras in front of him? He looks healthy. He looks ready to go. Yeah, I think Frank looks ready to go, man. I was talking to you yesterday, Hefner, about how even though in my prediction video I picked Tank to win with my wallet, but I cheer for Frank. I'm going. I wouldn't be mad if Frank won. It'd be a great story. Such a small world. Those were the years I would have been down on Carson Street seeing shows and hitting bars. Ha! Yeah, man, it is a small world, dude. Hell yeah. Pittsburgh at the time in the early 2000s, they had, it was either, I think it was called Club Laga, but I used to be in the little punk rock scene. And I used to go see Drive Through Records was a label that you'd see bands like The Starting Line, Taking Back Sunday, Brand New. Pittsburgh always had the coolest little scene in the early 2000s for those punk rock shows. But I was there too, man. Do you remember Casey's? When Ben Roethlisberger got drafted to the Steelers, there was this college bar called Casey's in Pittsburgh, and I think it was Tuesday night, they had or Midget Mondays. They had a midget, and the midget would come on the bar and pour shots in everyone's mouth. And Big Ben would always be there because it was like his frat brother from Miami of Ohio. I think he does. You know how it's in life. We all want a chance. When you get that chance, you can't blow. I think, man, it would shock the boxing world. All right, round one is over. I give round one to GAR. He was just way more active. And he looks, man, we haven't seen him since, I think Russell fought last August or September. He doesn't look rusty. He looks poised. His brother's in his corner. You got Gary Russell Jr. and Gary Allen Russell. It's kind of like the George Foreman thing. He named all of his sons George. Kind of could get confusing. But yeah, if you guys are watching this, man, it's definitely a card I would be paying for. I'm just a little frustrated because I think the Liam Perro fight starts. The Perro fight versus Matias starts at a half hour after the Tank fight. So we'll see what we do here. My girlfriend bought me tickets to go see Seinfeld. So I think I might have to miss if I miss a fight to go see Seinfeld, I'm going to be pissed. It's something you got to do when you got to keep the girl happy. You boys know what I'm talking about. All right, round two starting. These boys are swinging, though, man. I love Russell's style. He is a long Southie. He's 5'10", coming at the 140-pound division. It's filled with guys. 28 years old. He's in his prime right now. All right, I'm going to add some stuff to our group. All right, round two. If you guys watched the first round, who do you think won that? Puello or GAR? This fight's way more exciting than the last fight. If you guys watched the Carlos Ademas Terrell, I always pronounce Gaucher's name wrong. Gaucher. Terrell Gaucher's fight, the former American Olympian who knocked Tim Tszyu down. I gave Gaucher way more than the judges gave Ademas, I think, 10 out of the 12 rounds. It was a horrible – I don't mind giving Ademas the fight, but to say that Gaucher only won 2 rounds is ridiculous. It was way closer than they had it. Once again, more of the same in the second round. Gary Antoine Russell's pushing the pace, pushing Puello against the ropes. You got your classic southpaw versus orthodox matchup. There's a battle of the front foot. You got GAR circling, wanting to go right, setting up his backhand, and he lands it there. He's aggressive, man. If any of you guys have not seen Gary Antoine Russell box, it's not shocking. You know, he like I said when I started the stream, of his 17 pro fights, 7-year career, 46 rounds. That's crazy. 46 pro rounds in 7-year career. This is his 47th and 48th round as a pro, which is unbelievable. It's one of those crazy stats. If you guys follow my channel, you know that I'm kind of a nerd about statistics. So when I hear them in boxing, I'm like, damn, that's fucking crazy. 46 pro rounds in 7 years, 17-0, 17 knockouts. Gary Antoine Russell's a walking boxing stat, mate. He has pressure in him, man. if you like a high action-packed technical fighter, a technical southpaw who just tries to knock you out from the time the fight starts, this is Gary Antoine Russell. It's here. It's here. It's here. Pushing you, pushing you, pushing you, making you uncomfortable, making you panic. And this is an Alberto Puello guy, undefeated. So he looks uncomfortable here. He doesn't look like he's in over his head yet. But what you're seeing with the game plan, what Antoine Russell is doing is he's making him uncomfortable with his volume initially. And then I assume going into the third, he's going to probably start sitting down on some of his shots. He's still just tapping. Round 2 over, 2-0 Antoine Russell. They're showing Benavidez right now, warming up. What'd you guys think of Benavidez, how he looked on the scales? Because, like, I talked about this yesterday on our live. I was impressed with Gvozdyk, mate. I was impressed with how Gvozdyk was bodied up at 37 years old. Usually in combat sports, you look at the guy who's 10 years older, the body composition, the physicality, it's usually always the younger guy. But Gvozdyk looked physically the best I've seen him. We know he's a former world champion. We know that that his only loss was Artur Beterbiev. It was a bad loss. He retired after that. He had a stroke after that. But he's had his prime would have probably been when he beat Adonis Stevenson. When Adonis Stevenson was a light heavyweight champion from 2013 to 2017, and he was Canadians' pride and joy of that division. And Gvozdyk went in there, not only knocked him out in the 10th, but retired him. And unfortunately, Stevenson was put in a medically induced coma. Was really never. I'd have to look. Hopefully, I don't know if he ever regained 100% health, but that's the sport, mate. You can be on top of the world, have everything going for you, and have one bad loss, and it changes you. And that's why on my channel, you'll never hear me talk shit about fighters. You'll never hear me call a fighter trash or bash them, because to be a fighter, man, it's a totally, no matter how good or bad you are, it's an admirable path. You know, the way of the warrior. So, but that's Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk looked good on the skills, and I think it's going to be a lot close. Like in my prediction video, I took Benavidez to win. But now, man, Jack P, no fighter. Exactly. See, that's where I'm glad that people are, as I slowly grow this channel, I don't mind if I have, 10 people or 10,000 people. But as long as we see that, those are the people I want to kick it with. If you don't respect the fighter, how can I respect you? So if you notice in comments, you'll see me go after, I'll go after trolls if they talk shit. But yeah, so going into the third, Russell's pouring it on. Halfway through the third round, Puello's grabbing right now. I want to know what Gary Antoine Russell's cardio regime is, because he gave an interview yesterday and they asked him about his strength and conditioning. They asked him about where his power comes from. And his answer to that was every fight camp, every fighter's family, they do things differently. And, my father was a boxer, and I guess they have like really unique methods how they do their fight camps. I'd like to be a fly on the wall, because I'm watching Gary Antoine Russell right now, and I don't see it. I could see him stand there with any 140 pounder. He just unleashed a 10-punch combo. He hasn't taken one step back. He is a dog, man. He is an underrated fighter. I did notice how in shape he looked compared to Benavidez. Benavidez is never going to look true, just not his body type. True, the Mexican food is too good. I feel you. Yeah, we sometimes forget Benavidez. Those pictures of him when he was a kid, like a teenager, and he was, obese, taking a beating. Take a beating to feed your kids because you didn't finish school, so this ready to call that guy. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, for sure. That's the worst when I think boxing goes through generational waves of narratives, and this newer generation of boxing fans use words like trash, bum, just very derogatory one-word phrases to describe a fighter, and it kind of gives us the sort of smoke signal to know that these are the people who don't know shit about the sport. They don't know about a right hand versus left hand. They don't know about orthodox stance, southpaw. They wouldn't be able to talk to you about the minutia, the technique of what's going on. They just see guys punching each other. They don't see the strategies. They don't see the bag. All the stuff that boxing fans like. Those people just do one-word comments about fighters. They don't know shit. 3-0. What's happening right now is Puello. All right, they're showing Tank in his hands wrapped. I mean, Tank is switched on, man. My biggest excitement about the Tank Frank fight is the first few rounds. Shit, that first 3 minutes. Because we've seen Tank, we've talked about this all week. We've seen Tank in past fights not necessarily give rounds away, but it's in his style to be a methodical in those first few rounds, see what's happening, kind of a la Floyd Mayweather, the later half of Floyd's career, how he would kind of like compute data, see what his opponent's giving him, and then pour it on. But sometimes we saw Tank later in fights really needing knockouts to win, and he's just gotten the knockouts, 29-0, 27 finishes. Holy crap. Did you guys ever see Gary Antoine Russell? I've never seen this in my life. So in boxing, the ice, we grew up calling it N-swell. Old school, they would use the spoon, and they would Gary Antoine Russell's corner has a medieval mask that they put on him mid-rounds. I've never seen that. Round 4, guys. Boxing news today. I'm just posting in our group on Facebook. Guys, last month we had our Facebook group up to 115,000 members, Boxing News Today. For some reason, I got no response. I got no warning. Facebook took it down. So I had to start the group over, and we're back up to over 3,000 in the first month. So if you can, go to Boxing News Today, Facebook, and hit subscribe. And then I had to start an Instagram. We have like 10 people on Instagram, Boxing News Today, but it'll grow. Let's see where we at. Tank is a cautious fighter. Yeah, Tank has that power, man. I think but we've seen Tank. Tank could be cautious. Tank could be a brawler. Tank could be a bully. He's very, that's his skill set that I think sometimes gets overlooked by people who kind of, don't cheer for him. But he has a lot of ways to beat you. And that's another thing that makes him dangerous. Not every fighter can say that. Not every fighter has more than one path to victory. A lot of fighters only have one path. Think about Wilder. We knew what Deontay's path was, and a great path, an exciting path. But you take that right hand away, and he never had a B, C, D. Tank has a few, and I think that's what makes him a special fighter as well. Okay, Gary Antoine Russell. I'm just blogging. Gary Antoine Russell versus Alberto Puello. It's kind of evening out. I have Russell up 3-0, midway through the fourth. Russell does have some swelling on his left eye. Puello's throwing. 50 seconds left. They're exchanging. Puello's finally getting Russell's back against the ropes for the first time. Halfway through the fourth round, it's the first time we've seen Gary Russell take a step back. And Puello looks huge for the division. He is a long 140-pounder. 30 seconds left in the fourth. This is probably the first even round. Like I said, I had Russell kind of walk the first 3. 20 seconds. Going into the fifth. Going into the fifth. I have it. 3-1 GAR. So, yeah, we are at the end of round 4, going into round 5. And Puello's getting yelled at by the ref for throwing this. So what Puello's done a few times from orthodox is as they break, he's with his lead hook, he's coming here. And nothing has landed, but maybe that's what caught GAR's eye because it is swollen. And the ref called him out on it. It's a dirty old tactic. It's an old heavyweight tactic in the clinch here. And rather than you just roll your hook over, so you're not even really trying to land here. You're trying to catch that. Tyson used to do that a lot. George Foreman used to do that a lot. It's an old cheeky tactic. This mask that they're using is crazy. They're using a medieval, I know I mentioned it earlier, I've never seen anything like it. What you usually use for N-swell, the cold press of the ice to get the cauterization of the swelling, the scar tissue. They have a medieval mask like this, and it looks like something from like the Iron Age. And so in between rounds, you got Gary Antoine Russell wearing this, and it looks fucking cool. All right, going to the fifth. They have a 3-1. I have a 3-1. We're getting into the territory of one of the longest. Let's go to Gary Antoine Russell's box rec. See what his longest fight is. And that would be the knock with a guy who's 17-0, 17 knockouts, would be, have we ever seen him tested? Have we seen him have to overcome? Because they always say anyone can be the hammer. Can you be the hammer when you're being the nail? Like, are you able to be the nail as well and come back from the dead? It's one of when you hear Teddy Atlas in the past talk a lot of shit on Mike Tyson and a lot of Mike Tyson's detractors, it's one of the reasons is that they said Tyson only won fights that he was winning. Tyson really didn't have a penchant for being down on the cards and be able to come back and win a fight. And, you know, there's some truth to that. With Gary Antoine Russell, we've never really seen him tested. I don't think he's ever been dropped. And let's see if we can get this posted real quick. So this is midway through the fifth. Russell's backing him up with the jab. Right now, it's just a counterboxing affair. Russell's pushing him back with the jab. Neither one. Okay. Puello's starting to land his jab a bit more. Classic orthodox. Oh, no shit. He's fighting southpaw now. Puello's landing. Russell's making him rotate out of the corner. Middle of the ring now. 30 seconds left in the fifth. Russell's active with his jab. Puello's trying to fend him off the ropes with his lead hand. Southpaw, southpaw. Both are active. Nice right hand by Russell. Yeah. So the longest fight of Russell's career. He's gone into the 6th round twice. When he knocked out Rancis Barthelemy, and then when he knocked out Santiago. So this fight is this is the end of the 5th. This next round will be Gary Antoine Russell's tied for the longest fight of his career. So, you know, if anything, it'll be good to see how he does in these later rounds. 4-1 Russell. Yeah, good timing. Same, 4-1. Chinchilla, have you ever seen one of those masks? Is that something that I've never seen that before? The what they're putting on Gary Russell's face, like that, like medieval. Because usually it's just your typical boxing iron. You know, your end swell. They have this whole mask that's frozen put on his whole face. It's pretty cool. And that's the unique character. It plays into the unique kind of character and personality that is GAR and all the Russells, you know, for that bit. Okay, so Puello's corner's telling him to keep the center a bit more. He's allowing GAR to control that center. It is southpaw, southpaw. I swear I saw Puello fight orthodox. Yeah, no, the Dominican. This is a good matchup so far, even though it is 4-2. Yeah, it looks wild, man. It looks pretty rad. A minute gone in the 6th. Total punch rounds. Russell's landing. Oh, that was just round 6. No, he's only landing 15%. Puello's at 22%. But Russell's thrown 260. Puello's thrown 160. Russell's output is crazy. He's thrown 100 more punches than Puello in round, and we're just starting round 6. Puello's landing at a bit of a higher clip. Yeah, Russell's conditioning is admirable. I mean, if you guys are a fan of working out, training yourself, and knowing what it feels like to go a few rounds. And then, then you see a guy like Russell, just his output volume constantly here, constantly working, jab, 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 grab. Like, it's constant, man. It's, with that, you have to have your breath work on point. You have to have your timing of when you're breathing on point. There's so much that comes into play, not just punching. That your eyes, your vision, his vision is high level. How's the peril card looking? Will collide with Tank. Yeah. So I'm running 3 screens right now. I have my screen here, my big screen, and my mobile device. So the way the schedule looks like, it says as of now, the Peril fight, main event, Matias Peril, will start a half hour after Tank versus Frank. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch that one live. I got Seinfeld here in Sydney. It's so funny to say and admit I'm going to see Seinfeld. My girlfriend bought me tickets, mate. Don't clown. How's the Peril card? Good at $13.99. 30 seconds into the 6th. Russell's getting touched a bit more with that jab. I'd like to actually see a bit more head movement from Russell. Yeah, Seinfeld. Excellent. Me too. Sometimes you don't know if you want to admit that in all crowds, but yeah, I'm also a huge Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. 10 seconds in the 6th. The one thing with Russell that I would say is that, he doesn't move his head a lot. He's not his style. He's not here a lot, and he's not there a lot. He's kind of tap, 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 then there, tap, 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 then there. So Pueblo's kind of catching him with his lead hook as Russell's coming in. Pueblo's starting to time the lead hook here and kind of marking up his face. So we'll see. Fight's halfway done. Yeah, man. One too many snowflakes. Lost some. Long lost. All right. Round 7. He's not even breathing hard, guys. King Gizzard and Wizard. All right, they're swinging. Round 7, like I said, this is now the longest fight Russell has ever been in. Pueblo, 2 of his last 4 fights, he's gone the distance. One was a UD victory. The other one was a split decision. We know Pueblo's 22-0. We know GAR is 17-0. Oh, nice combo. Pueblo is a long southpaw. That was beautiful. And when he's landing, starting to land this lead uppercut, back hook. But he's like kind of lunging with it. It's starting to land more and more. And when it lands, it's pretty. He's kind of shoveling it like there. He caught Russell coming in. A minute gone in the 7th. All right, Russell's trying to pour it on again. I wonder how they're scoring it. It could be 4-2. It could be 4-2. We'll see. 2 minutes left in the 7th. Pueblo's landed that uppercut again. His rear uppercut, just kind of swinging it there. And like, this is the longest fight GAR's been in. I'd like to see him move his head a bit more. He relies on his reflexes in the pocket more than anything. But Pueblo's long. He has a 3-inch reach advantage as well. Need to eat before main events. Yeah, it'll be up. I'll keep it up. Yeah, I ate before this Gary Antoine Russell fight. 58-56, guys. It's a lot. They have it closer than I have it. Wow. Not the official scorecard, but a minute left in the 7th. They have this 58-56 for Russell. I had it a little farther. I could see, the first few rounds were a wash. Russell just took him easily with his pace. But now Pueblo has figured some things out. He's figured his timing out. Now he has Russell up against the ropes. Only the second time in the fight where you see Russell has lost that lead foot battle and lost the center. Puello's standing there now. Puello's sitting down on his shots now. He's acting like he has them figured out. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Does a fighter have a different level they could go to? Do you have a plan B or C? Do you have other tips and tricks that you could use within a fight and make adjustments when your main objectives have been neutralized? And with Russell, his main objectives, obviously his pace, his tempo. He's thrown 100 more. He's starting to land now. He has Puello's. What the hell is that? Oh, that was the end of the round. That was awkward. So that round ended with Russell tagging off on Puello, and then the ref jumped in, but I didn't hear the bell because I'm talking to you, and I don't want YouTube to flag me. 5-2 guard. Yeah, that's how I had it. But did you see that unofficial? They had it closer than that. Seb Fundora. They're showing Seb Fundora versus Tim Tszyu. The bloodbath. Is Seb fighting Errol Spence Jr.? It's starting to look that way. And what does Tszyu do when he gets back? I mean, he just said that he's allowed to start sparring soon this month. They're showing Canelo knocking down Jaime Munguia. That was a good fight, man. People are hard on Munguia. I'm a Munguia fan. He's still not in his prime. He's going to take a lot away from that loss with Canelo. I expect him to be better when we see him again. All right, round 8 of 12. Longest fight of GAR's career. This is for the interim super lightweight world title, the WBC. When Russell strings his combos together, it's beautiful. Oh, they both got tagged there, though. 30 seconds gone in the 8th. 55-52, that's an unofficial scorecard. Or no, what am I talking about? Those were punches landed. Forget what I said. Tim never lost his form contra under so much violence. That's the sign of a true professional, being able to handle the chaos. A good loss if that exists. Yeah, I hopefully we can get back to the days. You guys have obviously heard this week with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh wanting to sort of flirt around with a singular boxing promotion, wanting to sort of buy out the Eddie Hearns of the world, the Bob Aarons of the world. And a good side of that, a good outcome of that would definitely be the best fighters fighting the best. And over time, we wouldn't really care as fans of we wouldn't give a shit if a fighter has a loss or not. So with Tim Tszyu, you're right. Some losses are good losses. And he never panicked, right? Some guy, like even in sparring, I'm 42 now, but I'll spar on Saturday mornings only with guys I know. And you could tell, like, when you're starting to learn, get comfortable with a new guy, or if they're not comfortable and the first few times they get hit in the face, you could see the panic because they're not used to it. Part of boxing is having a poker face. And over time, being able to take a shot is equally as important as giving a shot in the sense of the psychology of the sport. Like getting clipped and acting like nothing happened sort of thing. And sometimes even the guys at the highest levels, when they see their own blood, you can see the panic in their eyes. We didn't see that with Tim. Tszyu, it was a great point you bring up. Tszyu saw his blood, and 10. What was it? He got cut in the second, and that fight went 12, and he was just still there. But kudos to Seb. People don't realize Seb had a broken face. Tim Tszyu broke his face, broke his nose. He had to get surgery. So Seb was there too. Seb did equal the same. Seb's a dog, man. He's very soft-spoken, and you see him on the street, he looks like a librarian. Like, the dude does not look like an athlete. He's so lanky and skinny and has a baby face, wears these pop bottle glasses. And it's why boxing is such a beautiful sport, man, because you can never judge a book by its cover. Ten seconds in the 8th. The round ends like a lot of them. The one thing that Gary Antoine Russell Jr. is doing really well, at the end of each round, I guarantee his court, like his gym, his dad, his family, it's probably one of their sort of, creeds that they live by, is they probably train to be more active at the end of each round. Not all fighters do that, but it's very noticeable with 15 seconds left. Russell will come in and force Puello into the corner at the end of each round. Even if he isn't landing, it's just for an optic that you create for the judges. If that cut never happens, Tim beats him. Yeah, man. Damn, so many ifs. How about, let's rewind. Let's talk about it. How about that fight with Liam Wilson versus Navarrete? Look where Liam Wilson's now fighting on a card. So I live in Sydney, about 60 miles south of where I live, Wollongong. It's a town on the coast. They're having a fight card, and Liam Wilson is fighting the younger brother of Billy Dibb. And, I mean, when he had Navarrete hurt, he was that close from becoming a world champion. And then we know what happened. Navarrete, just getting knocked out and getting finished in his last fight in America. And now, 2 losses. Next thing you know, holy shit, they have this as an even fight. Joe Goosen, man, I don't trust that guy. Goosen gave Puello the last 2 rounds, dude. What are you talking about? Goosen was the old manager of Chico Corrales. Remember that famous Corrales fight? Gets his mouthpiece, getting his ass beat. One of the greatest fights of all time. And he stares at him. He's like, "You got to finish him now." He says something along the lines. That's Goosen. Big old, kind of like sleazy sort of Vegas type, your archetypal hairdresser. Yeah. I don't know if he is, but that guy, hairdresser to the stars. Seems like he'd be a character in an Adam Sandler movie. Some guys, I think, play up to not wanting to be liked too much. You know what I mean? Some guys kind of get off, I think, on creating a persona of like, I'm this guy. If you don't like me, I don't give a shit. Guess there's some freedom to that. 1 minute gone in the 9th. Goosen, like I said, has it tied going into the 9th. I don't know if that's his way of mentally creating drama and excitement for how he's scoring the fight, but I don't see Puello winning 4 rounds. At the most, I'd give maybe 3, but that's still pushing it. 90 seconds left. Oh, nice hand. Oh, they're swinging. The one thing I like about Puello is his composure. No matter how much he's getting backed up, he's never out of position either. Some guys, they're not comfortable fighting off their back foot. They get out of position. They can't sit down or anything. Puello's just methodical, just very comfortable everywhere the fight goes. Oh, he threw an elbow. There's another elbow. He's doing this dirty lead elbow thing. He caught Russell again in the face with it. The ref hasn't seen it. That's twice. Second round, he saw it. A minute left in the 9th. He just landed an elbow on Russell's right here on his cheek. $40 seconds left in the 9th. It's 11:50 here in Sydney. Let's see if they push the start time back. They're saying no, they're going to have to push it back. They're saying David Benavidez is fighting in 8 minutes. That's not true. This fight's not even over yet. Shit, that means all the times are going to get pushed back. Okay, so right now, Liam Perro's still set to start 30 minutes after the Tank fight starts. Benavidez is supposed to start in 9 minutes. Not going to happen. This is the end of the 9th round. Oh! Ooh! All right, we got 10, 11, and 12. Puello's not intimidated, though. Got to give him that. This is a tough fight. It got closer as it's going on, and maybe that's what people were saying. Knocked out every opponent in previous 17 fights. Oh, God. He looks good. That's the thing. All right, so his brother is in his corner saying that he had. Ref took. Oh, did he take a point? No way. I didn't see that. Was it for the elbow? Ref took a point. I didn't see that. Maybe this might be on a delay. But what Gary Russell's brother's telling him is throw a hook after the body shot. Well, which is kind of textbook, right? That's kind of like day 2 stuff in boxing. Somebody please tell me when the fight starts, man. So it didn't start yet. So this is the end of the Gary Antoine Russell fight versus Puello. This is round 10, if you're asking. The fight that starts next is David Benavidez versus Gvozdyk, and then Tank versus Frank. But we're in the 10th round of the Gary Russell fight versus Puello. And it could be anyone's fight, man. Russell started off quick with his tempo and pace. He's throwing more punches than Puello, but Puello's landing more. And somebody said, took a point from Puello. Nice, man. I didn't see it. Was it for the elbow? Okay, we'll be on YouTube. We'll be here on. No, they're not going to play the fight on YouTube for free. If they are, tune into the fight, and you don't have to hear me talk shit. But if they are, put that on silent. Hear me talk shit. So it's interesting, Chinchilla. They took a point because I'm not hearing it because I'm just seeing it. I saw it, so I'm glad that they saw what I saw. And it's not the first time he's done it. And if you're watching the fight, when Gary comes in, it's almost like Puello is timing it on purpose, like that. It's so noticeable to where, man, you do that shit in sparring, that's gonna lead to a fucking brawl. There's some guys will try doing that just in Saturday morning sparring, and I have a career. I can't be walking around with a big cut on my eye. I get more pissed about that than dick shots. I'd rather get hit in the dick than a fucking intentional elbow to my eye trying to cut me. I'll be that type of shit will get you beaten up. Salute to your channel. Why is Gary Russell Jr. the trainer, brother, the most inactive fighter in the world? Still can't believe he calls out fighters. I know. Well, Gary Russell Jr. super inactive, but I mean his brother. I think it's kind of how they roll a bit. Like we said before. I think you just jumped on. His brother, who's fighting now, Gary GAR. Before the fight started, in his 7-year career, 46 pro rounds. That's it. This is the longest fight of his career. So now this is round 10. 7-year career, this is his 56th round. That's it in his whole career. 1 minute left. Russell, now they're exchanging a bit. Like I said, I need to see more head movement from GAR. He's just standing there. He's listening to his brother, though. He's coming up top. He's working the body in the clinch. Puello's stuck on the ropes. Now he moves his feet, puts Gary back on the ropes. Gary takes the center once again, puts Puello on the ropes. We got 30 seconds left. Anyone's round in a very close fight. These are the rounds that win you fights, guys. He's definitely been quiet, Terrence Crawford. Oh, yeah. Remember that video with Bud Crawford when in a car he was shitting on Gary Russell Jr.? That one was hilarious. 15 seconds. Once again, end of the round. Gary puts Puello on the ropes. It's a good optic for the judges. Puello's trying to punch himself out of it with that hook. 3, 2, 1. Gary lands a flurry to end the round. Puello fires back with a counter. How are you scoring this, guys? 2 rounds left. Super Clout Chaser. Yeah, that's 7-3. Yeah, there's a headbutt. So what do you guys think of? So 7-3. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. What do you think about Goosen's scorecard? Is he just being a fuckwit probably? Let's see if they push the start time back for Benavidez. No, they still haven't pushed it. They're going to have to push it back. They have David walking in 4 minutes. There's still 2 rounds in this fight. Going to the 11th. Going to 11th, personally, I have it 7-3, maybe 6-4. It's just hard for me to give Puello 4 rounds. That's why I'm shocked that Goosen has it an even fight. Goosen has given Puello 5 rounds. So I'm like, thank God he's not scoring it. 7-3 is how I have it. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody else sees maybe 2 rounds ago how that round ended 6-4. But to see it 5-5 is wild. I don't see Gary losing 5 rounds. That's wild. Not with his output. 30 seconds in, round 11, standing in the middle. Both guys are in exceptional shape. Goosen spent more time on his hair than his prep. No shit. 100. Goosen, man, his fashion's awful too. Once again, nothing surprised me with these judges. Did you guys see the judges' last fight? The Gaucher versus Carlos Ademas, which was a pedestrian sort of fight. Gaucher fought how he always fights. at his pace. I had Gaucher winning. I mean, I wouldn't have been shocked if they would have given the fight to Gaucher, but the judges' scorecards were like 10-2, 11-1 for a Demas. I'm like, God damn. And the announcers don't even mention it. That's another thing. So I don't mind watching this with the volume off, talking to you boys. All right, halfway through the 11th. If anything, the thing that Puello, if he looks back at this fight and sees something that he could have done differently, it would definitely be not letting GAR control the center. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's controlled the center the whole time. And you got Puello with a 3-inch reach advantage, longer fighter, a little bit taller. Both guys are like 5'10", 5'11" at 140. Their frames are awesome for this weight class. No wonder they're both undefeated. I wonder how much pressure Gary's putting on himself to keep that knockout streak going. Okay, total punches. Russell through the fight, landing 16%. Puello's landing 24%. Russell's thrown 542. Puello's thrown 361. No, GR's taller than that. Gary, no, he's 5'10". Yeah, his frame is for 140, mate, and he's thick up top too. They were talking about it yesterday, the type of conditioning that the Russell family does, and they don't share it. That's why, like, their social media game is suspicious. It's shocking Gary Antoine Russell's not a star. I mean, he doesn't use social media. You can't find literally much content of them anywhere. I think that's by design. 20 seconds left in the 11th. Puello's starting to show signs of slowing down. Russell is just a guy that's sticking to his game plan, pushing forward. He does have swelling under both eyes. One of them is definitely from an elbow. The other one, he's got landed on a couple times. Nothing substantial. 3 seconds left in the 11th. Does it say he's 5'8"? Big bro can't be taller than 5'8". Let's check. Let's check real quick. Ain't no shame. I swear it's 5'10". No, he's 5'10". This is GAR. Go to his that's terrible. Go to his box rec. Shit. Just go to his box rec. You'll see. His box rec has GAR 5'10", 69-inch reach. Puello's 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. No, Puello's. That's wild. They have Puello at 5'9". Doesn't Puello look taller than GAR here? For sure. Yeah, they have GAR's listed at 5'10". Puello's listed at 5'9", but when you look at them, I thought Puello was taller. Who knows? Shit. You know how people they fudge those stats. Ask any guy you know. If they're like 5'10", most 5'10" blokes will say they're 6 feet. Most 5'9" blokes will say they're 6 feet. All right, this is the last round, guys. Coming out. Man, you got to give it to their conditioning, man. Like, one of the things I do is I'm a strength and conditioning coach. So I train people on how to, like, functionally be healthy. And I train athletes. I train a lot of corporate Australians, bankers, financiers, and stuff like that. And so being in shape, being fit, cardiovascular health and fitness is one of my fortes. So when you look at fighters who don't pride themselves in that, that bums me out. But when I see a fighter who prides himself in that, like Russell, man, it just shows you his professionalism. It shows you that he never gets out of shape. It shows you that the guy lives, breathes, sleeps boxing. It's like the samurai lifestyle. And that's for how I was raised, that's very admirable. Inaccuracies. Yeah, true. Box rec. I wish you're right. There are inaccuracies everywhere. GAR just got hit in the dick, and he's on the canvas. A blatant dick shot, dude. They were at distance. They're at distance. And Puello, So they're at distance. Puello throws a random wild hook as GAR steps in. Boom, right to the dick. All right, he's back. They're starting to fight. Russell looks pissed. He looks fucking pissed. He's pouring it on now. They're going for it. Oh, they're going for it. They're exchanging, boys. 90 seconds left. Puello's not taking a step back. They're both landing. They're both firing. GAR's trying to time that lead hand. Oh, these boys are brawling. 90 seconds. Kudos. They're clinched up. GR's trying to land his power hand, his left. All right, a little bit of reset. 80 seconds left in the fight. Puello up against the ropes. I'm impressed with how comfortable Puello is with GAR in front of him, fighting him up against the ropes. Oh! Dude, Puello's slick, man. He's definitely earned my respect. He's a slick 140. Yeah, that dick shot was crazy. 50 seconds left. Puello just landed a huge right hand. But GR just pushes forward. The ref breaks him up. 40 seconds left. Reset. Guys, this is for the interim WBC super lightweight world title. 35 seconds left. Puello's back against the ropes. The way Goosen's talking about it, it's anyone's fight, allegedly. Oh, they're throwing hooks in the pocket. 25 seconds. Ref breaks him up. The ref has worked harder this round than he has all fight. 20 seconds. Russell with the hooks. Put him back in the corner. Kind of bullying him to the body. Finish up top. Body shots, head shots. Puello's firing back. 10 seconds left. They're just standing in the pocket now trading. Oh, teeing off. Puello with a big shot. 3, 2. And that's the fight. They're both throwing punches after the belt, screaming at each other. The ref breaks them up. We'll see what happens. Holy shit. Sorry. Thanks, man. Fuck. All right. GAR strutting back to the corner. First time going the distance. Good, man. It probably takes a lot of pressure off the 28-year-old that ends the knockout streak. You know what I mean? Do you guys remember when Berlanga started his career, I think it was 15-0, 16-0, and all were knockouts? And I remember I'm texting my boys back home in Ohio. I grew up in Youngstown, if you didn't know. Northeast Ohio, old boxing town. Ray Boo Boo Mancini, Kelly the Ghost Pavlik, Ernie Shavers did his camps in Youngstown, Greg Haig. But I'm texting my boys back in Youngstown. I'm like, Berlanga, is he the real deal? And everyone, this was like 2019. I'm like trying to like get their gauge on because there was a lot of hype. And now fast forward modern day, he wins like the next 5 fights by decision. And then he just won his last fight by knockout. But people look at Berlanga as like a Jaime. They clown him for some reason. But when Berlanga was coming up, man, he was knocking everybody out. And he talked about that knockout streak put a lot of pressure on him and how relieved he was when he won his first fight without a knockout. The Ghost was a dog. I grew up with Kelly. We were played little baseball together. I always tell people if Pavlik never quit baseball, he would. I played 2 years in college baseball. Kelly was my catcher. I was the pitcher. But Kelly and I played together from when we were 9 until we were 13. And then Kelly started just boxing when he was 14. But Kelly was a hell of a catcher. He was throwing guys out from his knees when we were 12 years old in all-star tournaments. I remember when he stopped Taylor. Oh, dude, I'll never forget what the announcer said. Atlantic City, we have a new middleweight champion of the world. He's from Youngstown, Ohio. I was at the Edson Miranda fight. I was at the Max Zertuche fight. People forget about Zertuche. That was in Disneyland, Anaheim, Los Angeles. I was living in LA at the time, going to Long Beach State. And Kelly fought Max Zertuche. And Zertuche came into the ring riding a horse. And that's when Kelly knocked him out. It might have been a 9th round knockout. Cold, on his feet, stoned him. One of the craziest knockouts you ever see. YouTube, Pavlik versus Zertuche. And it was a tough fight. Zertuche was in that fight. And Kelly knocked him out, pop, pop, on his feet. Just iced him like one of those. Yeah, LA in the house. I got the LA hat right there. I lived in Long Beach from 2004 to 2011. Oh, shit. Here's the decision. 1 judge to Puello, 1 to GAR. It's a split decision. Oh, shit. They gave it to Puello. Wow. Wow. And GAR is there just taking it. He just hugged him. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. Winner by split decision. I'm shocked by that, guys. That's crazy. But Pueblo looks the goods, mate. Like I was saying it the whole fight. He's long, southpaw, rangy, comfortable fighting off of his back foot. He fought half that fight on the ropes. That's crazy. Go get something to drink, guys. Benavidez is next. I'm on that peanut butter whiskey. That peanut butter boy. Unbelievable. GAR loses on his birthday. His counterboxing was amazing, man. I got to be honest with you. The DR in the house. Dude, one of the craziest holidays I went on was in the DR. This was only a few years ago. That place is the Wild West. Yeah. All right, all right, they're saying Benavidez, the walkouts will be in 10 minutes. So go get something to drink. Woo! Crazy. Do you agree with that? I don't agree with that decision. No way. There's no way. There's no way you give Pueblo 7 rounds. What? But I'm not a judge. You know, it's not like the biggest robbery. I wouldn't call it a robbery. I'd have to watch it again. I like what I saw with Pueblo. Yeah. Like I'm a Pueblo fan. I like his style, man. Long, rangy southpaw counterboxing, comfortable off the back foot, in perfect position to punch off the ropes. Not everyone can do that. Stay here and fire here, fire, fire, fire. Like that's a skill. I think that's a skill, like a genetic sort of thing. That's a balance thing, balance and sort of like intuitive. You have to have an intuition about where your opponent's going to be, and then here. He was a little bit dirty though for me. I don't really like dirty fighters. He threw elbows, he threw dick shots, but that's the sport, man. Sometimes the gap between fights is as long as the car feels like it's flying by. Yeah, it's a good point, Jack. Yeah, it didn't look like a robbery. Yeah, I agree. It's not a robbery. Gvozdyk, dude. This is the same guy. So they're in the locker rooms talking to Gvozdyk. I remember watching the Gvozdyk Adonis Stevenson fight. Never even heard of him. Adonis Stevenson at the time, guys, if you remember, was the guy at light heavyweight for years. I think for at least 3 years. He had defended like at least 7 times. No one could beat him. He was this flashy, charismatic champion. And this Ukrainian was the boogeyman, dude. Came in there and like, I hate to almost like, Adonis was put into a medically induced coma. It was scary. It was a scary knockout. Maybe they had it. I forgot. I don't like think the sport that I love. I'd hate to think that judges have it out for fighters. I don't like thinking like that. Did you guys see these Ben Whitaker highlights? He got head. Let me rewind that. Watch this. Watch the headbutt. Oh God! Did you see that? That's the kid from England, Ben Whitaker. He won today 8-0. He dances when he fights. He talks shit, and he got headbutted. Did you see it? Watch what he's doing though. He's tapping him on the head. He walked. That's the second round. That's not like after the fight, you're like, good fight, little homie. You know, that's my man's, and then come train with me. That's not that. That's the second round. He beats him up, and he walks him back, and he's tapping, and then boom, headbutt him. I had Subaru and Paro. No, Subaru and Paro, they're not going to fight until a half hour after Tank Fight starts. We're just now about to see Benavidez. Oh, I'm so excited. Benavidez and Gvozdyk. He ate that like a G, didn't he? Protect yourself even after the bell, right? Who's that remind you of? Or even during the bell? Victor Ortiz. You know, so before I did a little documentary on that Victor Ortiz fight maybe a year and a half ago. So I rewatched that Victor Ortiz versus Floyd, and Ortiz was putting it like Ortiz was winning rounds too. In my opinion, the most disappointing thing about that, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's Victor Ortiz versus Floyd Mayweather for the title. There were a couple breakups, and the ref was breaking them up. And after one specific one, because what Ortiz was doing, Floyd would back up against the ropes, and he would be taller, and Ortiz would jump up and catch him with a headbutt. And so after like the second time, Floyd got really pissed. The ref breaks him up. Victor goes to shake his hand, and Floyd just went pop, pop, and knocked him out and starched him. But if you watch the fight leading up to that, it was a close fight, and Ortiz was never the same guy, which is crazy. Most guys aren't ever the same guy after they fight Floyd, though. You know what I mean? Like having a loss, they don't teach us how to deal with losses, do they? They only teach us how to deal with wins. It's one of the things that, on the contrary, if you guys ever study Buster Douglas, and we know his name for what he, the fight in Tokyo with Mike Tyson, but in an interview years later, it's one of the most interesting stories, in my opinion, of boxing, are the words of wisdom that Buster Douglas said. He was being asked about what that fight camp was like, what it was like beating Tyson when the whole world thought you were going to lose. And Buster said that he was like, the problem wasn't believing I was going to beat Tyson. He said that the whole world thought I was going to lose, but my whole camp, my coaches, my sparring partners, we planned for me to win that fight. Everybody knew I was going to win that fight. He was like, I'm not just saying that. He was like, what we didn't plan for was how I was supposed to live after I won the fight. He was like, there was no talk, there was no conversation about how to live now as a champion. It was just how to live becoming a champion. And he said that was his biggest downfall, because we know about the weight gain. He was never the same fighter, and his jab was gorgeous, man. When Buster's 6'7" heavyweight, southpaw, snap, light on his feet. Dude, the version who beat Mike Tyson should have had a real long career. But he said he never knew they didn't prepare him how to live as a champion. And those are wise words, man. Benavidez better be the A's game. Yeah. Did Frank and Gervonta? No. Frank and Gervonta fight after the Benavidez fight. What's happening now on the pay-per-view is they're showing the highlights of each fighter, Gvozdyk and Benavidez, and they're about to get called out. I'll keep you guys posted. Excited about this one, guys. Are they writing anything about I'm not seeing anyone post about Antoine. Yeah, this is crazy. All right, I'm posting in the group right now about the Puello fight. So if you see me on my phone, all right, this is what PBC posts. So if you're just tuning in, Puello beat GAR by split decision to become the new interim WBC 140-pound champion. All right, Benavidez is getting talked to. Jim Nance is there. The first thing Benavidez says is about his strength and conditioning. I wonder if he was reading the comments about his body type. What time does it start? So I'm live streaming, guys, from Sydney, Australia. So my times are different from your times. Right now, it's 12:15 Sunday afternoon, 12:15. They have Frank and Tank fighting at 1 p.m. down here, so in 45 minutes, but that's going to get delayed. That's not happening yet. This is a crazy day in boxing, dude. The UFC's on too. I used to report for the UFC for like 4 years. So like I watch every MMA fight, not just boxing. It's just my channel's just boxing. So I'm checking the MMA stats too. My dad had a VHS of Tyson highlights, old HBO rounds in the sports section. I was shocked when I saw Tyson on the canvas looking for gum. Yes, dude. I wonder who the hell was the monster. Buster Douglas, man. That was a very iconic when he Tyson's such a warrior though. He's unconscious basically, and he's like, where's my mouthpiece at? I'm putting it back. I'm not done yet. So, man, I think we all remember where we were if you were alive when that fight happened. I was shocked. Okay, let me post in our group. If you guys aren't following Facebook, Boxing News Today, like I said, we were at 115,000 subs. Facebook jacked us a month ago. We're back up to 3,500. If you're not following, I use it as a news cycle. I use it to keep up to date on all the goings on of the sport. It also keeps my mind fresh on what's going on in the sport. So if you're a boxing head, go to Facebook, Boxing News Today, subscribe. Appreciate you. Alberto Puello. He was a 6-1 dog. He was a 5-1 underdog. Puello upsets GAR. Unbelievable. All right, they're showing the tail of the tape. Benavidez, Gvozdyk. We know one's 27. We know the one's 37. They both weighed in a little bit under 175. They have Benavidez listed at 6 feet tall. Gvozdyk at 6'2". Benavidez's BoxRec says he's 6'2", and they have the reach and a scratch, 74.5. After the fight that's starting 5 minutes. Not yet. Not yet, Nelson. I think they're about to call the boys out. Yeah, they're about to call them out. Didn't you guys think that Benavidez was 6'2"? I guess I just go by what BoxRec says. They just list him at 6 feet. Unreal. How'd you score it? Here we go. The Nail. What a nickname. Gvozdyk's getting called out right now to the ring. All right, Gvozdyk's getting called out. The Nail. Oh, we got a fight on our hands. I don't think this isn't going 12, man. You got Gvozdyk knocked out he's knocked out 12 out of his last 15 opponents. And we know Benavidez 24 out of 28, which is crazy. I love how we love knockouts in boxing. You know what I mean? That statistic. He's in the ring. Oh, here we go. Benavidez is getting called out. The Mexican Monster. Remember he was the red flag? He must have I think Mike Tyson coined him that. Who's he coming out with? Wasn't he supposed to have an elaborate walkout? So we have so crazy Gervonta is fighting after this 2 main event. I know, dude. We haven't seen Tank since April 23. Oh, Benavidez is walking into. I love the robe. He's wearing kind of a slick sort of like. Those are roses. Nah, you know what? I don't like the fire on the sleeves. I take it back. He's wearing this robe with fire on the sleeves. Not for me. Do you guys remember Hot Topic? I'm an old head, but like back in the day in America, you'd have these stores, Hot Topic. In the late 90s, early 2000s, you could get we'd get our weed grinders from there. You get weed grinders. You could get I used to have these shoes, these boots, and the back of the heel would come up. And as the heel part would slide out, you could put weed in it. So it was like one of these stores, but you get T-shirts, CDs, records, and all that good CDs. When was the last time you heard that? Records. And they used to sell these like the grunge cats, the dudes who were listening to like Slipknot. They'd wear these like black shirts with red fire sleeves. And Benavidez's robe has these fire sleeves on. I don't know. I don't like it. It brings me back to those Hot Topic days, mate. Don't judge me. I have trauma. What's the internet saying about this GAR? No one's really calling it a robbery. All right, we'll put this one to bed in a second. Here's how they reacted. Here's how the crowd reacted. This is the Russell reaction. You hear the boos? But GAR takes it like a G, though. Yeah, very. All right, round starting. Okay, say it's 12:30 here in Sydney. This is the co-main. They pushed the Tank Davis start time back a half hour. Okay, and kept. Okay, now the Liam Paro and Subriel Matias fight is starting right now at the same time as the Tank fight. So I'm going to have to catch up on that one because I'm watching the Tank fight. There ain't no way I'm going to watch Paro versus Matias if I had to choose. Do I want to watch that fight? Of course. Would I watch Paro versus Matias over Tank versus Frank? You must be smoking weed. Gvozdyk is getting called out. Oh, this shit gets me nervous. I don't even have a dog in the race. I'm not even – look at this fucking fro. What you know about that? I don't even have like a dog in the race. It's not even like I got money on this. I'm just a nerd for big fights. Benavidez got that look in his eye too. He's standing there. That one. Yeah, he's only listed as 6 feet tall here. His box rec. I wonder if they make their own box rec. Round one's about to start. Jimmy Lennon Jr. announcing Benavidez. I don't think Puello won. Same, mate. Same. I agree with you. I picked GAR too. I only gave Puello 4 rounds. It's good. It's that good nerves and sweating on it. Yeah, that's right. You know, it's winter. Good pickup. It's winter down here in Australia. This is cold for us. It's probably about 50. Even though I grew up in Northeast Ohio where it snows. Go live Discord. I don't know what that. I'm an old head. I don't know what Discord is. I'm just learning how the live stream is. But all right, they're face to face right now. Gvozdyk is the bigger guy. Anybody got money on these fights? Puello was a 5-1 dog too against GAR. That's the last thing I'm going to say about it. Download Discord, man. That's a lot of effort, baby. I appreciate the love, but like me downloading something is putting energy to something that's not really a language I speak. Maybe I'll think about it next fight. We got a lot of fights coming up. For now, you're gonna have to watch my big head or just change. All right, the fight starts. Gvozdyk takes the center, jabbing. We got to remember, Gvozdyk has a great jab for the light heavyweight division. Teddy Atlas called it one of the best jabs. Benavidez moving his head, nothing really landing. Right now, it's they're fighting for front foot position. Classic ortho versus ortho. Gvozdyk does look like the bigger guy. He's filled out too. They both weighed in at 174. We know this. Gvozdyk looks like he's close. He looks like he's close to 200 pounds, man. He's filled out. He's filled out good. He's real thick up top. Benavidez doesn't look like he's put that much weight on up top. He always looks kind of soft around the midsection, but we know his cardio. He's already outworking Gvozdyk in terms of his feints. He's just got rocked with a jab. There's a lot of action 1 minute in already. Benavidez is slick. What he's trying to do is smother Gvozdyk's jab by parrying his lead hand and then throwing his hook over top of it, which you don't see a lot of fighters do in terms of like ortho versus ortho. You're letting your opponent's jab almost land. You're parrying it. And rather than parrying it to throw the lead hook off the parry or parrying it to throw the straight right, what Benavidez is doing is parrying it and trying to slip in and throw his hook over it. Pretty slick. He's tricky. It doesn't get spoken about enough. Benavidez's hand play is tricky. And he's active, dude. He's adding this new thing here. And I saw, did you guys see the Roy Jones video when Benavidez was taking tips from Roy Jones Jr. and he was asking him about his footwork? It's one of the things that I like about Benavidez as well, is he's always learning. He's not one of these guys who thinks that he knows everything. You always see footage of him asking like former champions or other fighters to get rounds in, and he's a coach's son. You could tell that, and he'll probably be a good coach too when he's done. He just nice right hook to the body. He's doing a lot of this mid-level slipping, and he hasn't fired up top yet, but he's just slipping. What I'm thinking he's doing is trying to set up a hook up top. 30 seconds left. A lot of action so far. Gvozdyk is catching a lot of Dave's shots on the guard. We know Benavidez taps here. Gvozdyk's here. That jab got through for Benavidez. That jab, Benavidez lands his first two good jabs of the fight, in my opinion. There's that right hand. Okay. It's clear what Benavidez is trying to do. Parry the jab, set his jab up not to land with a lot of power, but that right hand. His right hand looks sharp. 2. Oh, lands it there. Round 1 over. It's always tough to score first rounds. It's always that's a crazy ass pace what we just watched. And it's like what we were talking about in the prediction videos is like we know Benavidez is going to keep the pace. Will Benavidez's power carry up the light heavy? Can Gvozdyk keep up the pace with Benavidez? And can Benavidez take Gvozdyk's power? So these are like the simple statistics of the narrative of this fight. And right now, we've seen both. Dave already has a little swelling on his right eye. He ate a couple jabs, and he's not breathing hard at all. That dude's cardio is crazy. I want to see those punch stat numbers. That was crazy. For a light heavyweight, dude, Benavidez is an interesting equation if he gets through Gvozdyk, because then you got to think he gets the winner of Benavidez Bivol, and he gets through one of those guys. He might. I like his decision for leaving 68. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I like that he didn't stay and just keep begging. Hopefully, he can just turn the page on Canelo, just say fuck off. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of I don't like when guys beg for fights. Huge left hand. Benavidez slipped and caught him with a huge left right there in the first 10 seconds of round 2. Gvozdyk really wore it well. He's sticking to his game plan. Gvozdyk's having that guard here, just tap, 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 move, tap, tap, move. Very technical boxer. We got to remember Gvozdyk was part of that Ukrainian golden era 2012 Olympic team. You had Lomachenko. You had Usyk. I think Baranchik might have been on that team as well. These guys are all from the Ukraine, so they're going to be technical fighters. Gvozdyk really won't take too many risks in terms of being in a bad spot. That doesn't mean he won't get into a firefight, but you don't really see him. Benavidez left. His lead hook right now is tricky. Benavidez keeps catching Gvozdyk there, like in the pocket with that lead hook. I'm timing KO Sports match. All right, appreciate you. We're at 150 in the second, 149, 148. If you're streaming live with me, if we don't have a lag, I'm at 142, 141, 140 in the second. Push off. They're both in the middle of the ring. Benavidez is now pushing Gvozdyk's back against the ropes. The way the first round started, Gvozdyk tried to control the center, but Benavidez has owned that. Caught him with a good right hand there. 90 seconds left in the second. Benavidez is getting more loose, throwing that jumping jab we saw in his last fight against Andrade. Benavidez is not respecting Gvozdyk at all. Gvozdyk needs to get his respect, and Dave just landed a beautiful lead uppercut to the liver area. From the orthodox position, slip left, boom, lead uppercut right under the right arm of his opponent. David Benavidez' head movement is looking good. He looks good, guys. He looks hungry. He's looking on to put on a show. 1 minute left in the second. The pace is out of it. The pace is crazy. This is a bigger pace than we saw in the middleweight title fight 2 fights ago between Ademas and Gausha. I always pronounce Gausha's wrong. Gausha. It's a crazy last name. We got 40 seconds left in the second. Gvozdyk still hasn't landed anything substantial. Benavidez doesn't respect what's coming out after him. Gvozdyk's back against the ropes. 30 seconds left in the second. Dave is super active. Head movement here. He's really investing into the body early. Oh, right hook to the body. Beautiful rip. Lands up top to the head. His combinations, man, you can tell this is a kid who was boxing at a young age. There he steps in with that fucking lead straight, 15 seconds. When Benavidez steps in with a straight right hand, it's fucking brutal. 10 seconds, right hand over the top, misses. Gvozdyk is still composed, but he's not doing much. He's just getting hit right now. 3, 2, 1. Jesus Christ. Benavidez is a goddamn nightmare, dude. Anyone else watching this? It's a good round, and he's not washing Gvozdyk, but what he's doing is setting a pace. And if you watch the last fight, you would have heard me say that I love conditioning. Like, I love when I see a guy who weaponizes his cardio. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who knows that they're not going to run out of gas, and so they could just step on it from the first round. That could be very overwhelming for your opponent. So 2 rounds in, 2-0, Benavidez. We'll see how long this goes. Round 3 is about to start. Benavidez starts around with a jab, pressures forward, once again takes control of the center. Gvozdyk is jabbing back, trying to answer, not really doing anything on purpose yet. Tap, tap with the jab. Gvozdyk, very technical. Right guard is high. He knows that Benavidez wants to step in with that lead hook. Benavidez has landed his lead hook a couple times in the first few rounds from the pocket, not from distance. So what he's doing is, this is a high-level chess game right now. Benavidez is trying to lure Gvozdyk in a false sense of security in the pocket, like he's playing Gvozdyk's game. Gvozdyk's game is just tap, tap, tap. Benavidez will appease him and then throw a big hook. And it's kind of like when you're drilling that on the heavy bag, you would mix up your speed and tempo with your combinations with your last punch. So if I'm drilling my 1, 2, 3 on the heavy bag, the last punch on the combo would be the faster one. The first 2 would be normal. So 1, 2, 3. And that's a 4-punch combo. We'd say 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so look, boom. And it's a good way to get your opponent kind of offset. And Benavidez is doing just that. 1 minute left, 1 minute gone in the third. I'm impressed with what I'm seeing with Benavidez. I've sometimes not necessarily been hard on him with his skill set. We know about his skill set. It's just that I think he's too good of a fighter to kind of beg for fights. So that's my own shit. I have to deal with my own ego about like not having expectations of a 27-year-old kid who doesn't even know I exist. You know, who the fuck am I? But him as a fighter, I mean, what I'm seeing here is a really dangerous light heavyweight. Ukrainian tried that time, an uppercut coming in twice. Yeah, he's thinking. Yeah, Gvozdyk is. Let's talk a little bit about what he's doing. He's very. Sometimes when you see guys as technical as Gvozdyk, it sometimes can be to their detriment. You know, you'd want to see him kind of open up a bit, but he has a game plan. He's sticking to his game plan. I'm just worried about his pace right now, his tempo, because if he doesn't match Benavidez's tempo, he's going to drown. And the way he could change the trajectory of that tempo is to land something big and probably, to your point, looking for that uppercut. So Jack P, that's a good point. I like what he's doing. Gvozdyk's trying to get his straight right off. Hasn't really landed anything. Finally, he throws a lead hook. First time we've seen him start a combo with a lead hook, and then Benavidez answers with a jumping a la Roy Jones left hook. Remember when Roy was in his prime? Roy wouldn't even throw a jab. Roy wouldn't even start a fight. He would jump in with that hook, captain hook. Oh, good body work for Benavidez. 10 seconds left in the third. Benavidez working both sides of the body. Oh, right body, left body. Oh, there's one of those. He threw one of those patented 10-punch combos. First time we got to see Benavidez open up. Gvozdyk up against the ropes, end of the third, and we saw one of those patented pop, 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 Benavidez combos. Hand speed ridiculous. I wonder what the corner's saying. I can't speak Ukraine anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's see if they postpone. They push that Pero fight back. Nope. Pero Matias starting at the same time as Tank. Benavidez has thrown this lunging left hook a couple times. That right hook, he's throwing this right hook to the body, usually from an orthodox stance. Oh, nice. From an orthodox stance, you'll see the orthodox guy work his left hand to the body. And Benavidez is doing both. He's not falling in love with either side. He's coming here and here. All right, round 4. Gvozdyk leads off the round, first round in the whole fight that he starts off with a power shot. He's already a bit more urgent. All right, Gvozdyk looks different this round. He puts Benavidez against the ropes. He's trying to change the trajectory of what's happening. This is going to be a big round. I don't want to call it a swing round, but it's going to be a big round. Gvozdyk's pushing Benavidez back. His corner must have told him, hey, boy, what are you doing? You're letting him control the pace. All right, Benavidez is working his way back to the center. Gvozdyk is holding him off. They're like two bulls at the moment. Gvozdyk's not really moving his head a lot. His footwork is just simple left to right. Still remaining technical. Not comfortable punching going back, though. You can tell. And Benavidez obviously did his homework. Gvozdyk is at his best coming forward. 30-27. Goosen gives Benavidez all 3 first rounds. I agree with him there. We agree on something. Yeah, Benavidez is going to stop it. He won't stop those peppering jabs, making up David's face, even though he's losing, marking him. Yeah. Do you think that sometimes, though, Benavidez taking those jabs, like that's that like false sense of security I brought up 2 rounds ago, that sometimes in boxing, Benavidez with a step in right hand. You have to take shots, not necessarily on purpose, but you have to have your opponent think that they're doing something so you can one-up them to do it even better. It's like that chess game. They're active, though. Neither one is shying away. Gvozdyk is more active this round. He's still not winning the round, though. He's still behind. It's just Benavidez's movement. And it's not movement like a Josh Kelly or a Lomachenko movement. It's just this constant, like, coming forward. This sort of like, when you're backing up the whole fight, that in itself is exhausting. We got 1 minute left in the 4th. It's noticeable to see how uncomfortable Gvozdyk looks backing up throwing combos. It's not, he wants his feet set like that. He's just tapping. Gvozdyk circling around. He's trying to figure him out, though. He's working. He's trying. "25 seconds. Benavidez lands a big hook. Didn't really have a lot on it. It was an arm punch. Oh, now he's unloaded. Gvozdyk returns the favor. They're going back and forth. Oh! Benavidez with another one of those 6-punch combos to the body. 10 seconds left in the 4th. Things are heating up a bit. Benavidez with a looping left hand. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Exciting 4th round. I think Benavidez thwarted that onslaught by Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk came out in that round with an evident game plan on wanting to take the center, change the tempo. It worked for about 30 seconds, and then Benavidez's pressure just totally stopped that onslaught. But I like Gvozdyk's heart there. He's obviously going to be gritty about that. Yeah, Benavidez. There's the uppercut from Benavidez. 4-0. 4-0. Round 5 is about to start. Gvozdyk once again takes control of the center, pushes Benavidez back on the ropes. 15 seconds gone in the 5th round. Dave's trying to work his way back into the center, lands a straight right, switches footwork, has Gvozdyk's back against the ropes again. Oh, there's that right uppercut someone called. 2 in a row. Yeah. Jack, he lands that uppercut. Wasn't a lot on it, but it was there. Total punches landed. 84-47 after 4 rounds. Total punches landed. 84-47 in favor of Benavidez. Benavidez is once again giving the crowd something to cheer about, letting those hands go in the middle of the ring. The one thing Benavidez is good at as well is, for how sometimes unorthodox his combos look, he has an uncanny ability to always put his hands defensively back to where they need to be. Because sometimes it looks like he's fighting with his hands down, but he's always kind of like here, that sort of thing. And a lot of the punches that Gvozdyk is throwing on the way back, trying to catch him coming in, are deflecting off. Yeah, the body work. Benavidez 49%, 24% body shot or power punches. Benavidez is landing at a 50% clip on just power shots. About a minute 20 left in this 5th round. These first 5 rounds, Gvozdyk's taking a lot of shots. Hasn't been rocked yet, hasn't been rattled, but he's taking a lot of shots. And, there's nothing. Oh, God. Benavidez lands a huge left hook. There's nothing that Gvozdyk has landed yet to make Benavidez doubt himself, which is important the later this fight goes on. Is like if you have one fighter that has doubt creeping in. I mean, Gvozdyk has been knocked out before in the 10th round of a war against Artur Beterbiev. He was dropped 3 times. But you have a guy in Benavidez who's never lost. So as the fight progresses, oh, God, Benavidez is added. I don't really remember him going to the well too much on this single punch jumping left hook. He's landed it 4 times, and he's not throwing it off of a combo. He's kind of throwing it a la Roy Jones Jr. He's throwing it when he's at distance, about to cut the distance. He'll loop here and then jump in with this leading left hook. And as he lands it more and more, it's getting heavier and heavier. 10 seconds left in the 5th. Gvozdyk's on his bike now, backing up. Oh! Sometimes I think Benavidez is just trying to get a highlight reel for his Instagram on some of the flurries that he throws. Benavidez is landing shots when his feet are off of the canvas. Going into the 6th. He's taking a lot of shots, guys. Hasn't really been rattled. It's round 6. Gvozdyk has swelling around both eyes. Nothing too substantial yet, but redness around both eyes. Benavidez isn't even breathing hard yet. Round 6. Because the minute Benavidez senses that Gvozdyk is adhering to his game plan, he's gonna pour it on even more. That's the psychology that goes behind these rounds, is the fact that when you have a guy like Benavidez who's a knockout artist who senses that his opponent isn't trusting his game plan or he's letting him do what he wants to do, he's going to go for the kill. Round 6, 30 seconds gone. I'm just really impressed with Benavidez's output as always. Gvozdyk's still there, still trying to get his punches off. Jab in the body. Right uppercut. A minute gone in the 6th. Good head movement by Benavidez. Trying to get the center back. Pushing Gvozdyk up. Gvozdyk's punching back. Not sitting on shots, just kind of peppering. Just shoelacing at the moment. .90 seconds left in the sixth. Benavidez just kind of deflecting everything Gvozdyk's throwing back. He lands a huge combo there, finishing off with a straight right. Gvozdyk circles to his right, fires back, nothing substantial, just boxing defensively at the moment. Benavidez sits down on a rear uppercut. 1 minute left in the sixth round. Gvozdyk's slowing down. Benavidez still there, pushing the head movement a bit, pushing the pace. Gvozdyk's standing in the middle. When Gvozdyk's in the middle, he's not trying to sit on anything. He knows the danger in that. He's just kind of shoelacing a bit. 45 seconds. This might be the closest round so far. Not necessarily because Benavidez is losing. I don't want to say he's taking a round off. He's just being a little bit more defensive and letting Gvozdyk touch him. But now he's turning on. 30 seconds left. Benavidez takes control of the center. Throws another one of those leaping left hooks. Lands it. Lands a rear hand. 20 seconds left. Gvozdyk comes back with a 1-2. Nothing substantial. Benavidez catches him with a check left hook. 15 seconds left. Right hand to the body by Benavidez. Right hand up top by Benavidez. Jumping left hook stuns him a bit. Gvozdyk circles out. 10 seconds left in the sixth. Gvozdyk lands a straight left hand. Benavidez hands back against the ropes. 3, 2, 1. All right. Jesus. Tank's warming up. Tank has his chrome heart shorts on that he takes so much shit for. I remember when I moved to LA in 2004, and I went to Malibu for the first time. And if you're ever in LA, you'll know this. You take Pacific PCH all the way up towards like Oxnard. You get to Malibu, and right on the right hand side, there's like this little like you can pull off, and it's like the Malibu's foothills and all these little high end shops. They look like little individual cabins. They're across the street from the ocean. I think Nobu, the sushi place is across the street. And it was the first time I ever heard of Chrome Hearts. And the store was probably like smaller than my recording studio here, smaller than this room. And they just had like belt buckles, rings. They had like T-shirts. And I remember the first time, I'm 24 years old, and I'm like, what? This ring was like $18,000. It was just a sterling silver ring. I'm like, what the hell? Who would spend $18,000 for this stupid ring? And my friend was like, dude, this is like Malibu. These are like the celebrity wealthy. And so fast forward 20 years later, Tank Davis has a Chrome Hearts heavy bag, and he's sponsored by them. So I can only imagine what that sponsorship pays. That's what Chrome Hearts means to me, but maybe it's different now. I know at the time it was like sterling silver, sort of like jewelry. Round 7, 2.5 left. Benavidez can box, man. Gvozdyk really hasn't landed anything big, but he's still there. It's kind of turning, settling in a bit on both sides. I know if Benavidez is waiting on something. 1 minute gone in the seventh. Gvozdyk is still there. He's still switched on. He's still trying to win the fight. He lands a big right hand. Few and far between. Benavidez goes back to the body. Yeah, I'm impressed with the head movement by Benavidez. A lot more of this than we've seen in the past. He hasn't really got hit a lot. 90 seconds. Still landing 50% of his power shots compared to 25% from Gvozdyk. 100 to 47 in the power department. 1:15 left in the seventh. Gvozdyk's still there. He's a veteran. He's not going to quit on himself. Benavidez, if he wants to get him out of there, he's going to have to land something substantial. They're one of the few times they clinch up. None of this fight's taking place in the clinch. They're in the pocket now exchanging. 1 minute left in the 7th. Benavidez back on the ropes. Gvozdyk's trying to land that uppercut. 2 right hands in a row. Big right hand. Benavidez using the ropes. 45 seconds. Best moment of the round for Gvozdyk. Benavidez playing with the high guard. Using the ropes a bit. Nothing really landing there. Circle out. Circle to your left. If anything, the one thing I would say about Benavidez, he needs to be a little bit more urgent when he's coming off of the ropes. He needs to pick a side. What he does is when he comes off the ropes, you need to either circle left or circle right. He kind of just lulls into this empty space, into this void where he could get if Gvozdyk was a busier light heavyweight, Gvozdyk would have taken an angle and tried to catch him on an angle. But he's getting away with it right now. And sometimes you as a boxer, you don't fix holes in your game until you fight somebody who makes you fix holes in your game. And right now that's 3, 2, end of 7. The last 2 rounds have been, I don't want to say pedestrian. Dave he's not trying to end the fight like he was going early. And the last few rounds ended with Benavidez missing big punches, which is not, you don't ever want to see your guy throwing haymakers just to throw them and they're not landing. So 2 rounds in a row, Benavidez finishes without landing big shots. And Gvozdyk, didn't really get him, I don't want to say got himself back in the fight, but, it's the 8th round. He's still in the fight. And, the longer you let a seasoned veteran hang around, the more dangerous he is. A little bit of swelling on Benavidez's right eye. They don't look worried at all in that corner. They look like they're just chilling. We got round 8, guys. This is the WBC interim light heavyweight title. We know Benavidez's first fight ever at light heavyweight. He looks good. He's added more head movement to his game. Gvozdyk is hanging around longer than David would have wanted. 100%. 100%. And guys, if you know your boxing, that's a dangerous game to play with a veteran, especially in these heavier weight classes. You give an old veteran like Gvozdyk, who was a world champion, you give him confidence in the later rounds against a guy who's never fought in that weight class. You add that to his Olympic credibility and his medal. You add that to METTLE, not MEDAL. Clarify, medal, psychology, not physical. So, good point. You're having this guy hang around. That's a dangerous proposition. Gvozdyk is landing now in the middle. Benavidez is less active on his feet, just like I said, using that high guard rather than moving around to have punches deflect. Some of them are getting through. That's a nice jab from Benavidez. That's a nice jab. Minute gone in the 8th. Benavidez really hasn't had a moment in about 2 rounds. So I'd like to see him try to create some moments. He's missing with that left hook. So the jumping left hook Benavidez was landing early in the fight, he's missing now, meaning that Gvozdyk has made an adjustment. He sees the tell that Benavidez is using to set it up, and he just slides out of the way. And every time he throws it, he misses. So that's a good fight. That's a good in-fight adjustment by Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk's a smart fighter. You can see his experience. He looks way more comfortable. Gvozdyk is loosening up, guys. Dave's hands are down. Benavidez, for the first time, showing signs of back on the ropes, high guard, nothing substantial. Gvozdyk's controlling this round. A minute left in the 8th. Missed the hook again, kind of grazed. Gvozdyk with his own 5-punch combo. Nice body work. Benavidez fires back. Benavidez with a big 2-3 combo. Benavidez misses with a big left hand. 30 seconds left in the 8th. They're standing in the center. Interesting round to score. 20 seconds left. Gvozdyk in this round was probably more active than Benavidez. Benavidez hasn't really looked right in a few rounds. It's not like he looks bad. It's just he's not as active as he was in the first 6. That's that pace. Lands a huge jumping left hook though there. backs Gvozdyk up. The round ends. That was the first round since the 6th that Benavidez ended well. All right, we're going to learn a lot about Benavidez here, guys, if anything. Going into the 9th. All right, some of these people commenting in our blog early 15 minutes ago were talking all this shit about Gvozdyk, and now they're quiet. And now I'm like, Gvozdyk's getting more comfortable the later this goes. You know, it's not a fucking. This isn't a foregone conclusion that Benavidez is going to win this fight. Now, if it stays like this, if it stays like this at this pace through the 12, Benavidez will win a decision. But I don't think Benavidez wants to win a decision, and Gvozdyk is there. A test in the yeah, 100%, Jack. Gvozdyk is, you know, lands a big right hand, has Benavidez up against the ropes. Benavidez isn't throwing a lot like he was early on. Gvozdyk's throwing the combinations. Good body rip by Benavidez, but he's throwing just one and done. The combinations are far and few between now from Benavidez. He's trying to throw something big, reset. Well, Goosen has it as a wash. Goosen is giving Benavidez every single round, like I said, which maybe you could give Gvozdyk 1 or 2 rounds. But in the big scheme of things of what it looked like early versus what it looks like now, it doesn't look as big of a wash now, is all I'm saying. And if you're watching it, you'd probably agree. The first 4 rounds were Benavidez running away with it. And he might have won the last 4, but the last 4 looked totally different. And you know, Benavidez will learn from this. We'll see how this goes. 90 seconds left in the 9th. It's way more intriguing now than it was 5 rounds ago. And if you're a Gvozdyk fan, you're not super upset about what's happening. If you're a Gvozdyk fan, if you're in Gvozdyk's corner, there's things that you could talk about. I would be working. The thing about Gvozdyk, like I said, I think you should. It might be too late now, but maybe invest more in the body. You know, you look at Benavidez's body in terms of body composition; it's softer, literally. Benavidez 163 to 103 in terms of total punches landed. That gap is closed a lot. Benavidez went from doubling up Gvozdyk in the first 5 rounds to it being pretty much even in terms of punches landed the last 3. 45 seconds left in the 9th. They're trading punches in the center. The last few rounds almost look like sparring, if you ask me. 30 seconds. Benavidez ripping the body. $15 seconds left in the 9th. 10 seconds. Benavidez lands a hook but gets countered. Probably Gvozdyk's best punch of the fight. Benavidez does a leaping left hand and Gvozdyk counters him with a straight right. 10, 11, 12 left, guys. That's round 9. And like I said, if you give Benavidez all 9, it's probably the right score. But the last 4 rounds, there's a lot of learning lessons there. He looks different. David will probably win on points, but people will say he was exposed. Yeah, no, right? I know, right? Just because he's in there with a vet who knows how to survive. Yeah. You understand boxing, Jack. A lot of people don't. I hate that word. I hate that adjective and exposed. You know what I'm saying? Exposed is if my girl shows you her titty. You know, if we're out, my girl shows you her titty, she exposed herself. A boxer against a fucking former world champion who beats him. You know, fans love to say he was exposed because he didn't knock him out. It's like, come on. My girlfriend wouldn't have liked that analogy. Round 10, guys. Okay, now Subaru Matias and Liam Paro looks like it's going to start before Tank Davis. The guide has Paro Matias starting in 10 minutes, just to let you guys know. All right, round 10, 30 seconds gone. You got to get Gvozdyk, man. If anything, he's a professional. He's still doing the tap tap tap, still there, moving tap tap tap, still there, right hand, still there, tap tap tap. It's just like if he really. Somebody said it earlier. Does Gvozdyk want to win or does he want to survive? Right? And I can't blame him. I can't blame him for either or. If he wants to just survive, he's going to survive. He's smart. He's a grizzled veteran. But if he wanting to win is something different. Wanting to win means he's going to have to put himself in vulnerable positions that he might get knocked out. So you can't hate on him either way. It's really a decision he has to make. 1:45 left in the 10th. The last few rounds really look like kind of sparring rounds, if you ask me, which is fine. I mean, it's something that I'd have to look at I know my prediction video, I picked Benavidez. I don't think I picked him to win by knockout. Maybe I did. I think I picked him 10th to the 12th. So I still have time to fulfill my prophecy. There was a lot of late money coming on Gvozdyk after the weigh-ins, though. If you looked at the odds, how the odds were shifting, because people were seeing the way Benavidez's body looked, but he never looked. I mean, he was an obese kid. He has a lot of weight that's like just skin that's loose. 1 minute left in the 10th. Benavidez is back against the ropes. I don't want to say that Benavidez is almost adhering to kind of just cruising by. He's taken. He took a big risk there with a big left hook. Look, one punch could change it for both guys. 40 seconds left in the 10th. Gvozdyk's back against in the corner. Benavidez, what's he going to do here? Unloads a big left hand to the body. Gvozdyk circles to the right. Benavidez trying to throw a straight right, glances off Gvozdyk's lead shoulder. Gvozdyk double jab. Benavidez counters. Oh! Catches him with a huge left hook. One of Benavidez's best shots of the fight. Gvozdyk circles around to his left. Regains his composure. 15 seconds left in the 10th. They're exchanging jabs. Both guys' hands are down. Benavidez starting to look real labored a bit. Oh, lands a huge jumping left hook. 5 seconds of the round. Gvozdyk fires back. The best exchange in a few rounds. All right, guys, we have 2 left. What are the experts saying online? Let's see what all the boxing scholars are saying in the blogs. Round 11, guys. I'm just talking shit to this guy in this group. It has to be 10. Yeah, like I said, it's a high volume in the first few rounds. But I'm going to do a video tomorrow on the statistics of the punch stats. But an interesting stat will be to see the stats, the first half of the fight versus the second half of the fight. And I think that's going to come down to experience with Benavidez, knowing how to carry that body weight. He doesn't have a gauge on what 174, 175 feels like in terms of what that output feels like. It's throughout a 12-round fight. It's his first time fighting at this weight class. So, maybe he'd say that he'd start off a little bit more measured because he started off on fire. He punched a lot in the first 6 rounds. 2 minutes left in the 11th. He's still at a close to 50% landing rate. He dropped a few, 48 to 27 in terms of percentage of shots landed. But it's getting closer and closer. Gvozdyk is now throwing more power shots than Benavidez, but landed 25% less. That stat after 4 rounds was way farther away. $90 seconds left in the 11th. Right hand's landed. A minute left in the 11th. Benavidez turning on a bit. Big right hand to the body, left hand to the body. Left hook up top. Gvozdyk's a little rattled. He's off balance. I don't know if that was a slip. Benavidez thinks he's sensing something. Gvozdyk circles out, pushes Benavidez back in the corner. 50 seconds left in the 11th. Benavidez is breathing out of his mouth a bit. That took a lot out of him. Gvozdyk lands a straight right. 1-2 back to the top of Benavidez's head. Benavidez's guard is down. He looks labored. Gvozdyk lands a big right hand over the top. 30 seconds left in the 11th. Benavidez lands a big step and jab, step and hook. He has some swelling over his right eye now. 20 seconds left in the 11th. Gvozdyk circles his way to his right, still on the ropes. 10 seconds left. Expect a big flurry. Big right uppercut to the body by Benavidez. Right hand up top by Gvozdyk. Left hook misses. Ooh, big right hand lands. And that's the round. 1 round left, guys. What are they saying? I wonder what could your corner tell you if you're Gvozdyk here? 1 round left. Don't wait for 1 punch. That's good advice. One round left, guys. Round, guys. Wow. The official scorecard's given Gvozdyk the last 3. Goosen gave Benavidez the first 8 and gave 9, 10, 11 to Gvozdyk. Benavidez has some swelling under his left eye as well. 2 minutes left in the 12th. Gvozdyk looks just as good as he looked 5 rounds ago. I bet you if you would ask if this fight ends right now, Gvozdyk would say he wish he would have started a bit quicker. Benavidez would have probably said he wishes he would have paced himself a bit more. I don't think Benavidez could hurt him with anything, though. That's something that Gvozdyk probably thought initially. It's pretty interesting to see the pacing of the two because Gvozdyk is getting better, to your point. And I don't know if Benavidez's punches, I wonder what Gvozdyk's going to say after when he's asked about Benavidez's power, because he's definitely going to be asked about it. I can't even say he was rocked. He might have looked stunned maybe once, and that might have been last round, but it might have been a slip. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot of snap there. A minute 10 left in the 12th. If Goosen gave Gvozdyk the last 3. It gives him this one 4. I wonder what the judges are giving him. Yeah, David Speed is there. I'd like to see, man. I'd like to see Benavidez work on his strength and conditioning a bit. Not when we say strength and conditioning, I mean like adding a little bit of muscle mass. 40 seconds left. The crowd seems at a lull, though. I wonder what the crowd's saying. Gvozdyk lands a big right hand. Benavidez tries to step in with a jab, misses. 30 seconds left in the fight. They're standing in the middle and trading. Benavidez misses a right hand, misses a left hand. Gvozdyk throws a right, steps to the left. 20 seconds left in the fight. Benavidez misses with a left hook, gets backed up against the ropes. Gvozdyk has his back 10 seconds. Benavidez throws a jab. Gvozdyk throws a combo. Big punches missing. Gvozdyk gives Benavidez some of his own medicine. And as the fight ends, Gvozdyk throws one of these to the body. That was hilarious. We'll see how the scores go. It should be an easy UD for Dave. I want to see what he says about it. I wonder what he's going to say about it. So the fight's over. They're going to the scorecards, guys. Go get yourself a drink. I'm your friendly bartender. Go get yourself something to drink. Oh. All right, let's see that Pero. Pero Matias starts in 2 minutes, guys. Okay, they're about to read the scores. We got Tank next. They're about to read the scores. Benavidez is on the ropes. Here's the announcement. Unanimous. $116, $112, $117, $111, $119, and $109. Look at those scores. One judge says $116, $112. The other one says $119 and $109. Benavidez wins, obviously. Yeah, we saw that. I mean, you get the W. He didn't get knocked out. He won the fight. We saw good things in Dave. He added some stuff to his game. More head movement I like. The big question will be the power. You know what I'm saying? Because we know about Better Beef's power. It does make it interesting to see him versus Bivol when you think about their styles. And Gvozdyk fought a fight to not get knocked out, by the way. I want to hear what he says. He gave himself a 7 out of 10. Okay, 7 out of 10, he says. He's saying that he came into the fight with a cut and a torn tendon in his right hand just 2 weeks ago. That's what Benavidez said. He said he was never going to pull out the fight. He said he weighed 189 in the fight. He brought up Canelo. He said he wants to fight Canelo at 68 and the winner of Bivol and Better Beef at 74. He said he came into the fight weighing 187. He only put on 14 pounds. That's interesting. I thought he was at least 200 pounds. He said he came in with a torn tendon in his right hand. I don't know if you guys ever tore a tendon. Usually boxer, I tore my right thumb tendon. So usually a fighter, when you see a fighter with a torn tendon in their thumb, what it'll look like is that. So if you guys have any friends who are fighters, look at their thumbs. And I bet you their thumbs will be like that. They can't straighten. I got mine fixed. Or like the pinky. I have a friend who's her left pinky's torn. That is just bent and she can't lengthen it. So the tendon is sort of the infrastructure that's aligned with the musculoskeletal system, the bones that allows it to lengthen, contract, and retract. Benavidez says 2 weeks ago he tore that. He didn't say what finger. He said on one of his fingers, which all that means is that you wouldn't be able to have as much pop and you wouldn't be able to grip as hard. He also said that he had a cut where that lump was, but it didn't open up. So if anything, the cut is referencing he probably wasn't able to spar as hard as he wanted to. And the tendon in the hand, he probably wasn't able to sit down on shots as much as he wanted to. Guys, go get something to drink. We got Tank next. Yeah, buddy. All right, guys. Liam Paro starts in 2 minutes for a Subaru. Tank Davis fight is on next. Cindy can watch all the post-fight interviews and reactions from the boxing room and still have a buffer to wind down before sleep. Yeah. It's 1:30. Where are you guys at? Where's it at? What time were you guys? It's 1:30 on. It's Sunday afternoon here. It's 11. So it's 11:20 in New York, and it's 8:20 in LA. They're interviewing Tank right now. He's saying that he weighed more than they said he weighed. Tank looks real healthy. Those are veneers, though. His teeth, right? Those aren't real, are they? Those look way too perfect. So Jim Gray's asking Tank about his mindset over the last year and a half, going to jail, where his head's at. Tank saying it changed him for the better. Tank looks comfortable, man. He looks happy. You know, sometimes he looks troubled. He looks at peace right now, doesn't he? I know. I think. I hopefully I'm thinking this interview was done earlier because the betting app says the fight's going to start in 5 minutes. They're about to call the boys out. Frank Martin, Tank Davis getting called out right now. This is it, guys. Tank versus Martin. Who you guys got winning this fight? They're calling the fighters out in a few minutes. About to call out right now. April 2023, guys, hasn't fought since Ryan Garcia. Let's go. Fights. Here's Frank's locker room. EJ, Charlo. So they're wearing Ghostbusters shirts. Tank Davis's camp is wearing Ghostbusters shirts. That's pretty clever. Come on, they're about to call him out. I'm getting antsy. They're still doing features on each fighter. I wonder what the holdup is. I wonder if they're waiting for that Paro fight. Surely the IBF and the WBC aren't communicating. They wouldn't have had the fight on the same night, would they? I'm just doing a David Benavidez post real quick. They're showing Frank hitting the pads. They have Frank at 5'8" and Tank at 5'5", but if you watch the weigh-ins, Tank didn't look that much shorter than him. I wonder what they're waiting on. Yeah, the Paro fight started. The Paro fight's in the second round. Frank Martin's a minus 600 right now. All right, guys, they're about to get called out. No, I'm reading. My buddy's blogging about it. I'm not watching the Paro fight on another screen. I'm I'm a nerd. I'm reading about the blog. My buddy's like doing live update round by round blogging. So I'm reading about it. I kind of don't want to know what the Paro fight, so I could watch it by itself later on. Here we go, Tank and the Ghost. I might put a little. 29, 29, 133, 134, 5'5", 5'8", 67, 68. I mean, Tank did not look 3 inches shorter than Frank. Here we go. They're getting called out. Finally. Let's go. Jimmy Lennon Jr. Let's go. The Ghost. Here we go. Martin. Oh shit! It's about to go down. You know, boxers wearing those heels, the mental edge. Ah, you think so? I've seen it in MMA too. They wear those like fucking. They put the. That's a good call. Fuck, I'm so gullible. I've seen it in MMA during some of the UFC face-offs. They put this fighter. He'll put slides in his heels. That's what. That's so messed up. We'll see. Frank looks. He looks tense. He doesn't look. He doesn't look loose. He's dancing. He's dancing. He's classy. It's tough to cheer against Frank Martin. I did my prediction video 2 days ago, Frank versus Tank, and I was telling everybody advice on betting, advice my dad gave me: always bet with your wallet, not with your heart. And it's tough to bet against. You know, how do you cheer against a professional like Frank Martin? But how do you bet against Tank? He's coming. Coming out to Michael Jackson. Ha! Ha! A little salute to MJ. Oh, my bad. I'm an idiot. Ghostbusters. The first bit of the song was Ghostbusters. Yeah. Holy shit, Ghostbusters. Yeah. Ha! I, that's hilarious. And they're wearing Ghostbusters shirts. That is hilarious. Kudos to Tank. He's being escorted into the ring by a rapper, which I don't know who that rapper is. Here we go. Who are you guys going for? Finally. It's only. Yeah. Remember when Floyd wore the Mexican flag? All right, we're about to start. You're about to have my full attention. I'm just trying to get this David Benavidez blog out. Like I said, guys, if you're following us, Facebook, Instagram boxing news today. All right, let me get this stitch. I'll be right with you. They're getting called out right now. Let's go. I'm back. The fight's just starting. They're getting called out right now. Nelson Acevedo. Frank and Tank, let's go. Who's your money on it? Come on. Frank closed it a 6-1 underdog. Tank Davis's corner is wearing Ghostbuster t-shirts. And did you guys see Ryan Garcia, what he's wearing? Let me show you real quick. Ryan Garcia is wearing a shirt that said, Tank's #1 fan, rematch me, bitch. Ryan Garcia, man. Sometimes I worry about that kid. The Ghost is called out. He looks like he's filled out a bit. What are the boys weighing in at 135? Yeah, he's filled out a lot. Guys, not that it ever matters against Tank, but Frank looks way bigger than Tank right now. The thing about Tank's body, he's never really like ripped. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not. He doesn't look. He looks a bit soft right now, actually. Tank Davis. He looks like the definition up here. He looks a bit soft. We'll see. Maybe that's just compared to Frank Martin, who's absolutely shredded. WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gvozdyk. Tank Davis. Jimmy Lennon Jr. He's been in the game since the war. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has been doing this since the war, the silent film era. Eye to eye in the center, Frank. Gervonta smirking at him. Oh, they glove touched. Harvey Dock is the man in the middle. Calvin is wearing a Ghostbuster shirt. That is hilarious. Got to get ready, too. You know you about to fight. Round 1's about to start. Here we go. All right. I predicted in my prediction video, Frank Martin needs to get Gervonta's respect early. He looks like a weight class above. Frank Martin has blown up, boys. He looks huge. He's a -700. Dude, Frank Martin might be 155 pounds. I know there's a rehydration clause, but fuck. But I mean, remember how big Raleigh looked huge too. So did Ryan. Southie versus Southie. Frank Martin's in the ropes right now. Gervonta's controlling the center. Got that high guard. 1 minute gone. Nothing really's landed. Nice body work by Frank. Circle away. Real methodical about it. Frank's focus is on point. Gervonta's right in his face. A lot of feints right now. A lot of feints. A lot of. Gervonta's doing this front foot feint, which is nice. Gervonta's stepping with that front foot like this, trying to get a reaction out of Frank. Frank circling away to the right. We know southpaw on southpaw. Both guys want to circle away from their opponent's rear hand. That's that power side. They're also working a front foot game here. Whoever controls that front foot battle, get the foot on the inside to set up that rear hand straight. 90 seconds gone, nothing really substantial. A lot of feints, a lot of computing. Frank lands a nice hook to the body. Oh, nice. Frank's hand speed looks on point. Lands a straight right, snaps Gervonta's head back. Left hand counter from Frank Martin. Gervonta high guard again. Oh! Gervonta tried. Dude, Gervonta's countering is some of the best in the game. Gvozdyk will counter you from such odd angles, too. He just countered Frank backing up here on one of them joints. This. 1 minute left. I love that high guard. It's something if you watch the fight, I mean, he's taking a lot of shit online, but the headlock, they're tallied up. Gervonta pushes Frank in the corner, lands a hook, but they get wrapped up. Referee Harvey Dock breaks him up back to the center. 40 seconds left. Frank Martin's looking to get the center control of the ring. Jab, jab, jab. It's something that, nice left hand by Frank. Frank's very athletic. Like I said, if you guys are watching this, Frank Martin looks like he's a weight class, maybe two bigger than Gervonta. 20 seconds in the round. Frank's backing up. Gervonta's walking him down with that high guard. Not a lot of movement. Gervonta never wastes anything. Not a lot of wasted movement. He's just seeing what he has right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, round 1 in the books. Gervonta threw 3 punches. That's typical. We always talked about that. Gervonta slow starter. Now, I didn't expect Gervonta to start slow. I thought he was going to come off, but he's sticking to his career game plan. This is how he got to 29-0 with 27 knockouts. Back to what I was saying last week when you watched the Blair Cobbs versus Adrian Broner fight. Some of the things I liked that I saw from Broner is that he did that. Broner, when he was in his prime, his guard would be here, and he would tap, 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 and just do here, and then walk you down, and then throw here. And you're seeing that sort of similar high guard from Tank. He's just not throwing anything yet. I expect you got to get more output. Tank landed 3 punches that round. Ooh, Frank with a nice left hand. High guard from Gervonta. Frank pushes him back. Yeah, they're both locked in. Nice feints. Frank's doing a level change feint. So he's doing one of these a lot. Tank's using his front foot, feinting a bit. Still not throwing much. Gervonta landed 3 punches out of 16. Frank 11 out of 49 in round 1. You got to give that round to Frank Martin. Frank Martin way more active. Obviously, you're seeing the game plan. Derek James put out this game plan. Get out early. Win the early rounds against Gervonta Davis. Hang around in the mid-rounds and then just survive in the late. We'll see. Frank Martin thinks he could get Gervonta out of there. Try to tie him up. Gervonta pushes him out. A minute gone in the second. Gervonta still hasn't thrown a punch. Gervonta's stalking him, but not throwing anything. Halfway through the second, Gervonta hasn't thrown a punch yet. Frank jab into the body. Gervonta's just eating it, just waiting. Left hook over the top. That lands for Tank. I'd like to see Martin be a little bit more stable on his feet. He's backing up a bit too much at every wish from Tank. Sometimes you got to stand your ground and just stay there. Body rip from Tank to the body. Left hand up top misses. Frank throws his own left, misses. They're throwing big shots a minute left in the second. Gervonta steps in with a jab. Frank slips it, circles out. Jab, jab to the body. High guard from Tank. Oh, big hand from Frank. Barely misses. Gervonta angles off with a body shot of his own. 50 seconds left in the second. Gervonta slowly picking things up. Misses with the left hand. All power shots from Tank Davis. Misses with a big right hand. Yeah, Tank wants to counter you for sure. Tank Davis is that's his bread and butter. He wants to counter you. High guard. 30 seconds left in the second. Gervonta unleashes a combo. Nothing really lands. Frank grabs, clinches up. 15 seconds. They're in the center. Big left hand from Martin. 10 seconds left in the second. Big left hand from Frank through the guard of Gervonta. 2-1. 2-0 for Frank. I give both rounds to Frank Martin. But this is Tank style. This is what he does. Give away a few rounds in the beginning. He's breathing though. He's breathing hard. He has some swelling under his right eye, swelling under his left eye. A couple of Frank's punches have gotten through. There's some redness on his forehead. They're still calm. They're calm in Tank's corner. High guard. Nice hand speed. Frank Martin's hand speed is definitely there. Round 3. Ah! Gervonta made Frank slip, and he smiled at him. He got a big reaction out of Frank, and he giggled at him. Frank does a minute gone in the third. Frank needs to stand his ground a bit more. Gervonta's controlling the center. Big left hand over the top. Frank's back against the ropes. Tank slowly getting closer and closer. 90 seconds left in the third. Frank's keeping a high guard in the corner. Gervonta's kind of playing with his food a bit. Oh, Frank with a beautiful left hand counter. Pushes Tank back a bit. I got to tell you what, man. Frank's speed looks just as good as Tank's speed. Same with his power. I just see a guy in Frank. He doesn't really trust himself yet. He's backing him up a bit too much. He's not standing his ground as much as I think he should. 40 seconds left in the third. Frank's kind of doing, or Tank's doing that traditional Marauder style, coming forward, getting a lot of reactions out of Frank. But when Frank throws, man, Tank's there to get hit. Big left hand from Frank Martin. Nice combo, catches him with a straight right. Gervonta's timing looks off a bit. Tank's timing and his front foot looks off a bit. He hasn't fought in 23 rounds. Frank Martin sitting on his shots. 10 seconds left in the third. Martin, when Martin lets his hands go, he looks crisp. Oh, Davis! That's it, 3 rounds down. I like to see the replay. They're staring each other down, laughing at each other. Frank's talking shit to him. That was an interesting last 30 seconds to that round. Round 4. Tank has swelling on both cheeks. Frank's up. Tank's still sitting down. Yeah, Tank has swelling on both sides. I don't think he really has the space and timing. His timing looks off. Frank is looking sharp. Frank's timing looks on point. He's sitting on his shots. The longer this fight goes, the more Frank Martin could believe that he can win this fight. Frank is athletic. He's quick. $30 seconds left 30 seconds gone in the 4th. Yeah, Goosen has Martin winning all 3 rounds. Me too. I have Frank up 3-0, by the way. It's going to come. Frank needs to believe that he could win this fight. Oh, what's happening is Tank is crashing in and Frank is catching him with his straight left hand every time. It's what's swelling up the left side of his face. The right side of his face. Oh, big uppercut by Gvozdyk. 1 minute gone in the 4th. Gvozdyk is pleading to the ref, Harvey Dock, that Frank is grabbing. This is an exciting fight. Yeah, right? If you don't give him something to counter, he can't counter. Frank's in the corner. Gvozdyk throws a big uppercut. Frank's grabbing his leg like he's shooting for a single, like we're in MMA. Circles out. Harvey Dock does a good job there. It's getting real chippy in there. 90 seconds left in the 4th. Frank high guard in the corner. Gervonta's controlling the center, pushes him back, lands a big left hand of his own. Frank needs to get out of there. Ties him up. Harvey breaks him up. 70 seconds left in the 4th. I got Frank Martin winning the first 3 rounds. This one's a lot closer. Ooh, was that a headbutt? When you get 2 southpaws coming in like this, what's happening is Gervonta is coming in a bit reckless, extending over and kind of smothering his shots. That's where you can tell a guy's timing's a bit off. He's like maybe half a foot too forward on his extension. 30 seconds left in the 4th. Oh! Nice right hand. Frank Martin's left straight looks like a piston tonight. He's pulling with his right, just snapping it right there. Tap, tap, snap. And when he uses his footwork to circle away from Gervonta, it's tap, tap, snap. Tank's letting his hands go. 10 seconds left in the 4th. Gervonta's missed a couple big hooks. Frank fires back with a left-hand counter. Gervonta throws a left hand that catches Frank Martin's guard. 3, 2, 1. That's it, round 4. Shit's heating up. What's Derek telling him? Derek's looking in shape. Keep using your feet. Keep your guard eye off the break. Round 5. It's either 3-1 or 4-0. There's a big psychology thing happening here. Gervonta's being the bully, but I think Frank could easily stop that with standing his ground a bit. Nice, dude. Frank's movement in and out, getting out of the pocket, weaving out of that power side is high level. Nice left hand by Frank. Gervonta pushing the pace still. Gervonta's looking to land a huge uppercut this round. He threw it last round, missed, and threw his big hook and missed. I'm interested to see when he lands it if Frank can take it. Oh! Frank looked like he was stunned. Then he hit Gervonta with the left hand. All right, that question was answered. Frank Martin could take a shot. He just ate a big one and then fired one of his own. 90 seconds in the fifth. Frank Martin is working way more than Gervonta. Gervonta's economy of movement. That's one thing that I'm seeing with about a minute left in the fifth is the wasted energy. Gervonta doesn't waste much. He doesn't waste punches. He doesn't waste energy. Frank is working hard to circle away from Gervonta. And the later this fight goes, with Frank not standing his ground, we'll either see if he can keep it up or if he's going to stand there and be there to get hit. 50 seconds left in the fifth. Martin's jab is looking good. Gervonta throws an uppercut, a hook combo, which is beautiful. Gervonta setting the jab up to the body. We know what he wants to do off of that. Big left hand over the top, which he throws. Frank throws back. Every time that Gervonta lands something big, Frank's there to throw back with a counter. That's obviously something they game plan for. 20 seconds left. You can't fight Tank Davis and let him just get off. You have to fire something back. My boxing coach used to say you have to give him a receipt. You got to give him change with that. You can't just let your opponent get off and just not give him any change. Ooh! Frank's back against the ropes. Gervonta's starting to land at the body. That's it. 5 in the bank. Gervonta's in his face talking to him. Shit. Whew. So right now what we're seeing is a very, what would you call it? Like a stubborn Frank Martin. It's where every time Gervonta gets in that space he wants and lands a big one, Frank is throwing one back. And it's not that Tank is surprised by that, but he's starting to understand that he's going to be there to fire something back at him. I don't know if Tank expected that. Because at the end of that round, they had an exchange. The look on Tank's eyes was just kind of like, okay. It was more like, rather than it was like, let me hunt you down, it was more like almost a sign of respect. Like, all right, then. It was interesting. Round 6. We talked about that earlier in the week. If Frank Martin wanted to be in this fight, the later the fight goes, he needed to get Gervonta's respect. Hook to the body, 30 seconds gone in the sixth. Right now, Frank Martin is kind of just, being defensive. Throws a combo on Tank, lands it to the body. Both of their jabs are pretty active. Jab, jab, right hand. Gervonta moves, smiles at him. 2 minutes left in the sixth. Big left hand lands on Frank. Frank uses his footwork. Will Frank be able to move like this in 3 rounds? Oh, big left hand over the top by Frank Martin. The thing I'm impressed with by Frank is how technical he is throwing that left hand. It's almost, they're exchanging in the corner. Gervonta is sitting on his shots. Frank's still there moving around. But when you have a striker who's super technical, it's almost like they're just pushing a button. There's no show or there's no tell on their punches. Frank Martin's left hand right now is like button straight, button straight. There's no loop in it. It's giving Tank a bit of problems. Right now, Tank's opening up. 1:30 left in the sixth. Frank Martin's movement is saving him a lot in these exchanges. A lot of times when in Tank's past opponents, when he's sitting on his punches, his opponents will just shell there and stay. Frank is moving. Frank is shelling, Tank is throwing, and Frank is moving, and he's using his footwork to circle out. Davis, both of his cheeks are he has swelling in his left and right eye. The right eye looks really bad. Frank Martin, I don't see any damage yet, 40 seconds. The tell of this fight right now is Frank's movement. Oh, big left hand. Frank Martin's outlanding Tank 60-48 with 30 seconds left in the sixth, which isn't that big of a surprise considering Tank's a historical low puncher in terms of output. Five, four, three, two, one. That's a Tank Davis round. 6 rounds in the bank. Things are heating up. It might be, I gave Frank the first 3. It might be 4-2 Frank. I have it 4-2 Frank. We'll see what Old Man has it. What do you guys, if you guys are watching it, yeah, Tank's best round for sure. And is that his best round because Frank's slowing down? Or is that his best round because Gervonta's finally starting to open up? We'll see. This next round will be really telling. Round 7. Tank rushes to the middle. Frank fires a 1-2 combo. Frank's jab looks good tonight. His footwork looks good tonight. This is the second half of the fight. I'm watching it in Australia, KO Sports. Oh, Tank thinks he hurt him. Tank's unloaded on Frank. Frank's grabbing. A minute left in the 7th. Frank is hurt. Oh, Tank. Frank fires back with a big left hand. Frank Martin showing grit and resilience here. He's being stubborn. Every time Tank lands something big, Frank's there to return. 2 minutes left in the 7th. You got to get off the ropes, Frank Martin. You can't stay on the ropes. Use your footwork, Frank Martin. Tank Davis putting the pressure on. 90 seconds left in the 7th. This pressure is amazing. Tank's not even breathing hard. Oh, big combination from Tank. Tank is opening up, throwing bombs. Frank's just standing there. He's moving less and less. It's getting dangerous for Frank Martin at the moment. Gervonta's teeing off right now. A minute left in the 7th. Frank fires back. A minute left in the 7th. Tank's not even breathing. His cardio endurance is through the roof. Big shot to the body. Frank's not throwing much back right now. He's on survival mode. 40 seconds left in the 7th. Gervonta is pouring it on. 30 seconds in the 7th. Huge. Oh! Big left hand by Frank Martin. Caught Gervonta coming in. That was gorgeous. That was his best punch of the fight by Frank Martin. Gervonta's pausing a bit. 15 seconds left in the 7th. Gervonta was dominating this round. Steps in, and Frank Martin timed a beautiful left hand. Gervonta throws a left hook over the top. 3, 2, 1. Fascinating stuff going into the 8th round. A dominant round by Gervonta. Frank landed a huge shot. Derek James is telling Frank to move. You either move left or you move right. What's happening is Frank is getting caught staring at Tank. It only works in Australia, Nelson. Do you live in Australia? Nelson Acevedo? Oh, they're showing the highlights right now. Round 8. Tank landed 19 of 37 in that round. Frank Martin landed 10 of 20. He only threw 20, only landed 10. Martin's outlanding Tank 73 to 69 after 7 rounds. But the last 2 rounds, there's been a big shift in momentum. Frank's throwing back. Nice left hand. Nice combo. He needs to hurt Tank. One minute gone in the 8th. Frank's moving a bit more. Unofficial scorecard. They got Martin up by 1 round in the 8th round. The last 2 rounds have been huge for Tank. Frank Martin's moving less and less. Tank's landing a bit more. Typical Tank Davis fashion as the fight goes on. His pressure, he's using his pressure, weaponizing his cardio. Frank Martin's movement tonight has been great. His jab has been great. The last 2 rounds have been pretty brutal, though. Gervonta has him trapped in the corner. 1:30 left in the 8th round. Gervonta knocks him out cold. 1 punch. Holy shit. Oh, my God. 1 punch out. It's over. It's over. It's over. Oh, the backflip. It's chaos. Oh, my God. What the fuck? Just like that, dude. Tank Davis is special. Tank Davis is that dude. 1 punch. I'll just do a little quick swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Oh, my God. Oh, and him and EJ give each other love. He goes into the crowd and finds Errol Spence. Both of his eyes are swollen. Tank Davis was in a fight. Oh, my God. That was brutal. Frank Martin, poor Frank Martin, man. Frank's just sitting there like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck just happened? Oh, my God. Guys, Google this shit. Go to ESPN.com. Go to ESPN Fighting on Instagram. They'll have it. Oh, God. Dude, you're doing everything right until you're not, right? Just like that, it's over. Gervonta Davis by knockout in the 8th round in a fight he was down on the cards. Oh, it was a left hand. It was the left hand. Oh, my God. That was insane. That was crazy. In a fight that he was down on the cards. Catches Frank in the corner. Left hand. Oh, out cold. Oh! Oh! Out cold! Frank fought so well. Frank Martin fought really well. His jab was working. His footwork was on point. His output was on point. It's just when you have that one punch power and that drowning style, that marauding style of Tank Davis, you get that. In a fight that he was down on the cards, you get that. All right, guys, I got to go see Seinfeld. Stay up.